crisp outline of the San Gabriel Mountains must have been this clearly defined against the winter blue sky 80 years ago, before the game of football became one of the feature events of the Tournament of Roses in Pasadena. That was back when they had chariot races and there was no smog. Today, the weather and the setting are postcard quality for the 77th playing of the Rose Bowl game, matching the Iowa Hawkeyes of the Big Ten Conference and the Washington Huskies of the Pac-10. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to 1991 and a happy new year for all of you, and for those Americans shaking hands with the uncertainties in the Middle East. We hope that your chore as peacemaker will be the easiest challenge you'll have all this coming year. Now let's join the Iowa Hawkeye Marching Band, directed by Dr. Morgan Jones, for our national anthem.
Please rise for our national anthem and for a salute to the 200th anniversary of the Bill of Rights and to our servicemen and women stationed in the Persian Gulf. It will be conducted by Dr. Myron Welch, Director of Bands at the University of Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
The ceremonies a few minutes ago. Entering the stadium, the Tournament of Roses President Roy Coates and his wife Carolyn, and the Grand Marshal of the 102nd Tournament of Roses, Mr. Bob Newhart, and his wife Jeannie. 1991 Rose Queen Cara Payton Rollman and the Royal Court. So it's been a momentous weekend for that former accountant from Chicago, Bob Newhart, and his wife Jenny. They have really enjoyed themselves.
The Chevy Corsica has better aerodynamics than a Porsche 928 and a gas-charged independent front suspension, which helps you hold the road. Corsica also has a new user-friendly interior, which helps you hold the most important things. It's a very comforting way more people are winning with.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
And now it's easy to win with an efficient new Chevy Corsica.
These NFL coaches lost 249 pounds.
I lost 35 pounds in 5 months with Ultra Slim Fast.
I lost 33 pounds and never felt better.
I can't believe I did it.
The Ultra Slim Fast plan is easy. A shake for breakfast, another for lunch, and then a sensible dinner.
I'm down 38 pounds. I lost the most and I feel great.
We're big guys with big appetites.
We lost weight.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
A quick synopsis of the game plan of the ball game today between Iowa and Washington. Bob Griese would say to me, put the pressure on the quarterback, make him be the man. Take away the run.
Well, both teams want to run. In fact, they come into this ball game averaging over 230 yards per game. Both teams, the pressure will be on the quarterback to get him in the right offensive play. Brunell for Washington has scored a running touchdown in 8 straight games. And Matt Rogers for Iowa will have to be checking off at the line of scrimmage against the Washington team that is #1 in the nation against the run.
The two head coaches, Don James of Washington, Hayden Fry of Iowa, as sound as any. And you know that special teams and the kicking game will have to play roles in the outcome.
Well, the edge there goes to Washington. They're #2 in punt returns. But the real question here is, which Iowa team will show up? Will it be the one that beat Michigan State, Michigan, and Illinois on the road, or the one that lost their final season game to Minnesota?
There's some 40,000 faithful from the Pacific Northwest following the Huskies down for the ball game, and almost 30,000 coming in from the Middle West. The Bumblebees are in town. The Washington Huskies, the home team today, 9-2 on the past season. They had losses at Colorado and at home in a stunning upset to UCLA. This is the 4th Rose Bowl game for the Huskies under coach Don James. Don is the dean of the Pac-10 coaches, 16 seasons at Washington. His teams have been to 11 postseason games in the past 12 years. He never had a losing season in the 80s. With 40,000 purple and gold faithful in the crowd today, it's going to probably sound a little bit like it's a home location for the Washington Huskies. But when you think back that Hayden Fry told us that something over 20,000 tickets were sold in the Middle West and in the state of Iowa for their people. So the locals, the Californians, had a heck of a time getting a hold of game tickets because they all went so fast. The temperature today is going to be into the middle 70s for the ball game. And for the people from Iowa, it is truly and genuinely a day to slip out and sit under the shade tree or take off the shirt and get a few rays. It is that pleasant. Now the roar starts to build. As the Hawkeyes, 8-3 on the season past, surprise team of the Big Ten. It's Iowa's 5th Rose Bowl, the 3rd under coach Hayden Fry. It takes a little while for the Hawkeyes to get together because it has been their habit over the last few years to togetherness has been the theme for Hayden Fry. And this, I guess, would be the ultimate expression of togetherness, because as they make their entry from the tunnel onto the playing surface, they collect themselves into a very tight bunch, if you will, a swarm. Number 71 standing there with the crutches. That's the all-Big Ten tackle, Jim Johnson, defensive tackle, a key man for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The loss of this man, a tremendous loss to the defensive side of the ball for Iowa, because he and Matt Rulin made up one of the best defensive tackle tandems in the entire country. Now, if they've got them all assembled and packed in tight enough, they will begin their slow march to their campground.
Let's go, man. Let's go, baby. It's showtime, Hawk. Let's go, man. Let's do it, Hawk.
We told you that Don James was the dean of the Pac-10 Conference. With the retirement of Michigan's Bo Schembechler, Hayden Fry is now the dean of the Big Ten coaches. His record at Iowa, 49-4. That makes him the winningest coach in Iowa history.
Hard to believe, but that was me, Dan Dierdorf, before I lost 40 pounds in 4 months with Ultra Slim Fast. Hey, I'm a big eater, but with Ultra Slim Fast, I never felt hungry. The plan is easy. I had a delicious shake for breakfast, another for lunch, and then a sensible dinner. I'm back to my college playing weight, and I feel terrific. Best of all, I'm not shaped like one of these anymore.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
Creating documents with some computers happens one step at a time. But an IBM PS2 with microchannel, on the other hand, can position headline and text, create stunning graphics, revise charts, receive photos, all at the same time. So a PS2 gets the job done in no time, instead of dragging along. For impressive documents, how you gonna do it? PS2 it.
I am holding something green and powerful, and it's going to change your weekend.
What, lawn clippers?
I'm picking you up at 4 o'clock.
So where are you taking me?
Reservation for the Newtons?
Yes, ma'am. What else have you got planned?
The whole weekend.
Only one card gives you the privileges of membership. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
I'm a second-half quarterback.
Now that was a stellar performance.
Super Buckets.
Have some chicken. You look weak. His arm is weak. It's called aging.
From Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Trivia, guys. Who has the record for most fumbles? You mean before today?
15 pieces of chicken or a supersized bucket of hot wings, just $9.99 each.
Wait till the second half.
All right, rally.
Anytime you're ready, gentlemen.
Super Buckets from KFC.
Come on, Dad.
The Iowa Hawkeyes and the Washington Huskies and the 77th Rose Bowl game as part of the Tournament of Roses Festival in Pasadena, California. And now for the toss of the coin, the Grand Marshal of the Tournament of Roses, Mr. Bob Newhart, tossing there in the center with referee Pat Flood of the Pac-10. Roy Coates is the gentleman there, the president of the Tournament of Roses this year, in the white suit, and they're meeting the respective team captains.
Shake hands with each other. Bobby, come up here. Hawkeye and a Washington Husky, so we won't have to call it. Mr. Newhart's going to flip the coin. Well, Bob, would you like to flip the coin? Wait, hey. Mr. Newhart, come back here. You got to.
High enough.
Washington Huskies have won the coin toss.
Huskies won it.
Coin. What do you guys want to do? Take the ball or go where you fit? You turn on this way, please. Washington will receive.
That's unusual, Bob. They win the toss so many times during the recent seasons. We've seen teams win it and defer. The Huskies won it. They want the ball. And so the crowd of more than 100,000 settles down in bright, warm sunshine. And we're ready for the playing of the Rose Bowl game.
The 1991 Rose Bowl. The Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Washington Huskies. Brought to you by Chevy Trucks. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. By Ultra Slim Fast, a delicious, healthy way to lose weight fast. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
You may have noticed that Coach Hayden Fry and the Iowa Hawkeyes were very late coming out of the locker room. Well, I queried him about that on the way out, and he said, we've got some special things, some tricks up our sleeve. And I was very concerned about the fact that the players may not have it down right. So I took the extra time. It was the last thing I told them about Keith Jackson.
Well, we know he's got a playbook that's got a lot of gimmicks in it, and he is not afraid to use them. The strengths of the two teams now.
Well, when Washington has the ball, Keith, it's that big offensive line of theirs. It averages 289 pounds a man. 3 of the 5 made all Pac-10. For Iowa defensively, it's their run defense. Number 1 in the Big Ten. They do lack speed and quickness on that defense.
The deep receivers for the Washington Huskies wearing the purple uniforms. Number 15 is Tommy Smith and number 29, Vino Bryant. And Bryant ranks 2nd nationally in kick returning. He can fly. There he is. He is from Los Angeles. Playing for Washington. The kicker will be Jeff Skillett. He's the junior from Silvis, Illinois for the white-shirted Iowa Hawkeyes. And we're ready for what we think will be an entertaining, good old-fashioned knock-em-down football game. And it starts off with a dull thud. as the ball trickles out of bounds. And he'll come back, mark off 5, and redo it. You normally don't expect a Don James team to be looking around for gimmicks and something different. I say you normally don't expect it. Sometimes you do, however, get it.
In the past, Keith, he's been accused of being dull and boring his offenses. That was the last couple of years ago. Now he has really got his offense in gear. In fact, goes to a one-back, 3-wide receiver set quite often.
The officials today, it's a mixed crew. The umpire is Jim Augustine of the Big Ten. We told you Pat Flood, Pac-10, the referee. Charles Stewart, Pac-10 linesman. Line judge Don Langlow, Big Ten. Side judge Richard Hornig, Big Ten. Field judge Harvey Jones, Pac-10. Back judge Rich Freitas, Pac-10. And Jerry Hendrickson of the Big Ten is the alternate. Now let's try it again. The Husky return men come up to about the 7-8 yard line. Skillett hits it. Bouncing down the field, bounces over the head of Washington's Tommy Smith. He gets a late start with the ball, but he comes back to about the 27, and there the Huskies will go to work. The Washington Huskies, the quarterback is Mark Brunell. He is a left-handed sophomore, 205-pounder from Santa Maria, California. And he's one of the better running quarterbacks you're going to see. I mean, he's really a speed burner, and he's big, 205 pounds. The tailback is Greg Lewis, who was the Doak Walker Award winner, the inaugural. He's a 200-pounder. Darius Turner is your fullback. The wideouts are Mario Bailey and Orlando McKay. They're both speed burners. So Washington has the big edge in speed. The tight end, Aaron Pierce, primarily a blocker. And once again, we're getting off to a staggering start as a flag comes out of the pocket of the referee, Pat Flood. And you've got a delay of game, I think, right here. I think they were just too offensive.
Dead ball. Ball start. Movement. Offense. Repeat that.
Somebody got to wiggling around up in front, didn't they?
It's normal. They've been waiting. Both teams have been here for 2 weeks, Keith, and they've been preparing for this game. You finally get it on the field. You get all the other players off, 11 against 11. Take a look to the right side of your screen. The left tackle is on our right side. They've got little butterflies. It'll settle down after a few plays.
We've had 6 seconds run off the clock, and we've had 2 penalties in the ball game. They give it to Greg Lewis. Lewis, the senior from Seattle, had 9 games this year in which he gained over 100 yards before he hurt his knee in the loss to UCLA. And I was intent on stopping him. Now, these are the people that make this whole thing sing on the ground for Washington. Look at the size of these people. Now, you add Lincoln Kennedy in there at that guard position instead of Schulberg, you add another 45 pounds to it.
For sure. 3 of those 5 were all Pac-10, as I mentioned.
Schulberg is the starter, but Kennedy will come. Little swing out to the side, try to get it in the hands of Lewis, get him out there one-on-one. Nothing doing. Brian Wise, the strong safety, was right in his face when the ball arrived, number 15. Santos, Rulon, Davis, Nelson. Jeff Nelson is the man that gets the call to replace all Big Ten tackle Jim Johnson. Leroy Smith, the end man. Derby and Foster are 2 big guys who love to knock people down. And Polly Book, Wise, and Hanks. Very good secondary for Iowa. 3rd down and 13 for Washington. Brunell takes off. He's good. But he's got his first down. I told you the kid is strong. He's 205 pounds. He's only a sophomore. He took a good, solid hit, but he just muscled Eddie Polly onto his back and picked up what appears to be the first down.
This could be a quarterback draw. It is. 3 steps back. The offensive linemen are downfield. That's Pierce, 84, blocking on Derby, 31. Bill Brazier, the defensive coordinator, said, look for the quarterback draw when there's no backs in the backfield. He got it on the first, 3rd and long situation, and Brunell picked up the first down.
Give you an idea, Polly was wobbled after being hit, but the quarterback comes out of the game, and Scott Plate replaces him. Brunell on first down, gets some heat, gets the pass off, The pass is incomplete, and Brunel got a greeting that time from a man in the white shirt who was coming hard. Pass was intended for Mario Bailey, but Bailey's got no chance. That ball was never more than 4 feet off the ground.
Well, it was Bailey was wide open about 20 yards downfield, Keith, so it's good that the Hawkeyes had some pressure on Brunel, or that ball would have been completed.
2nd down and 10. The ball is resting at the Washington 38. Opening moments in the ball game. Ball is handed off inside to Greg Lewis. And Lewis has a big play. Crosses midfield on a Husky. 1st down, Rod Davis brought him down.
Greg Davis had surgery after the UCLA game. That was the 2nd last game of the season. Arthroscopic surgery. He's wearing a knee brace up until about a week ago. Took it off and is not wearing it for the ball game. Greg Lewis, excuse me.
1st down, call it midfield. Ball is ridden off to the fullback, Darius Turner. Darius doesn't get that many calls, but the big sophomore from Gardena, California, when giving the ball, can be a load. He got 5. We have had some very cold weather, that is cold, relatively speaking, in Southern California. But the last 2 days, it's been getting better and better and better, and the Rose Bowl day, my goodness, look at it. Eddie Polly is back in at the right cornerback position for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's the boundary side for Iowa. Man, there's some big people up there. You can hardly see Brunel. He's back. He lets it fly. It is off the hands of number 5, Mario Bailey. The defender on the play was Brian Wise. To give you some idea what Wise will do, he's the strong safety. Now, he stayed back there this time to cover the wideout. Previously, when the ball had been swung out to Lewis, he was right in Lewis's eyes, so he's all over the place.
Well, defensively, Keith, Iowa, as I mentioned, does not have a lot of speed and a lot of quickness. They try to funnel everything into those 2 inside linebackers, Foster and Derby. What Washington is trying to do is throw the ball to the perimeter to get it to their fast wide receivers to work on a guy like Wise and get the speed going outside.
3rd down and about 5, and Brunel back gets some pressure, drops it off short to Turner, the fullback. He's got a 1st down. He's inside the 20. He hammers his way inside the 15-yard line. 1st down, Husky. He got away from Big John Derby.
Here's Turner right here. He's just going to slide over the middle. The middle linebacker is going to blitz, and Brunel is going to see it, pick it up very quickly. Excellent play by the sophomore quarterback Brunel, and good running by Turner. First scoring opportunity of the day.
McKay and Bailey will come to the bottom of the picture now as wideouts, and Matt Jones is in the backfield for the Huskies at fullback. He has the ball, and he's inside the 10-yard line. So from the 14 to the 9, make it the 8, 6 yards. Matt Jones, a redshirt freshman out of Portland, Oregon, on the carry.
Previous play, Keith, that little dump pass over the middle to Darius Turner always makes a quarterback feel good when he completes his first pass against a team that's blitzing. Washington has been outstanding this year inside the 20-yard line.
Turner is back at fullback. Lewis up the middle. They'll put him at the 4, just short of it. He is short of the 1st down.
44-yard line.
So they'll be looking at 3rd down and a half a yard or so for their 1st down. Just a little less than 4 yards for the touchdown. How about the Ramblin' Wreck today, huh? Woo.
If there was any question about the legitimacy of their ranking and their schedule, it certainly was answered today.
All right, 3rd down and a little less than a yard, actually, as Brunel sets him up. Keeps it. He's knocked down short of the 5-yard line. The Iowa Hawkeyes read the play well. Number 93 got penetration for Iowa. That's Jeff Nelson. And then Rod Davis and Brian Wise putting on his back. Now they're looking at 4th on a long 2.
Listen, a major victory for the Hawkeyes. It seems as though Don James and the Huskies are going to go for a field goal.
This is Travis Hansen, the freshman brother of Jason Hansen, who plays across the state of Washington for the Cougars at Washington State. Ball is being put down on the 8-yard line. That snap kicks from the 13-yard line. It's drilled right through the pipe. A 23-yard field goal, and the Huskies have the lead.
It's Chevrolet Geo winter time, where everyone can win with the trucks more people are switching to. Sir, how many doors does this 4-door Chevy S10 Blazer have?
4.
Close enough. You can win with cashback or low financing. And what's your favorite pickup?
Chevy half-ton.
It's America's favorite, too. And you can win with cashback on Chevy pickups, Astros, Suburbans.
Wrap it up. I'll take it.
You got it. Better get trucking to your Chevy Geo dealer during winter time.
Happy New Year, everybody, from Tommy Lasorda. This is how I looked before I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with the Ultra Slim Fast plan. But look at me now. The best part isn't how good I look, but how great I feel. And you know, Ultra Slim Fast is such a healthy diet. The best resolution you can make is to lose weight with Ultra Slim Fast. If you do, I know it will be a great year for you, too.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
I have a headache. I have a bad headache. I can't think. I can't concentrate. I feel pain.
Today, Michael Farbstein is trying extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For pain like his, why take aspirin or ibuprofen when nothing works better than Tylenol gel caps?
My headache is 100% gone. I feel great. I can think. I can concentrate. I can do what I have to do. Tylenol gel caps really did the job.
Tylenol gel caps, only from Tylenol. For everyday pain, nothing works better.
Tomorrow, two brothers on opposite sides of the law.
You're going against your own family?
Tell him I'm coming after him.
The Brotherhood. Tomorrow.
Travis Hansen from Spokane, who just knocked the 3-pointer through to give the Huskies a 3-0 lead. Now the Iowa Hawkeyes are to get the ball. The Strings.
They're a ball control team, Keith. They're number 1 in the Big Ten in both total offense and points. No big plays, though. For Washington defensively, team speed. In fact, they lead. They're number 1 in every Pac-10 defensive team category.
Danon Hughes is number 3. Jeff Antilla is number 81. The kicker for Washington is Channing Wiles, number 27. He's also the punter. Was one of the Huskies offsides. They get away with it. He got ahead of the kicker and head of the ball. It's fielded by Antilla. And he comes up across the 25 to the 26. And there the Iowa Hawkeyes will go to work. And they will start with Matt Rogers at quarterback. He's 6'4", 205-pounder. He's a junior. He is from Walpole, Mass. And his daddy is a basketball coach. Behind Matt will be 255-pound number 43, Nick Bell at tailback. The fullback will be Lou Montgomery, a 210-pounder. Danon Hughes and Sean Smith will be the wideouts. And here the Hawkeyes' first snap of the game. Who would you think will get the ball? You're right. Nick Bell. If you don't get Bell before he gets the third step, you will pay for it. Here are the big guys up front that make it go. Titley is the tight end. Davis, Agutter, Devlin, Miller, and Baxley. They've got some size, too, with a couple of guys in there at 280 and a couple of them at 270 plus. So the Iowa Hawkeyes love to bang it at you.
One of the early change-up for Iowa, going with 2 tight ends. Something a little bit different to show that number 1 defense of Washington.
Second down and 2. Bell has the ball coming off the left side. Good play. Good penetration by number 28, Eric Briscoe, the strong safety on a blitz, and he took away all of his momentum.
You can get Bell running sideways and not straight ahead. Washington's going to win those battles.
There are the three guys. Number 90 is kind of fun to watch. So's 58. So's 93. They're all three good. Hoffman, the linebacker there, was the leading tackler on the team, but Fraley plays that inside position at only 210 pounds. Mincy, Briscoe, Smith, and Hall, the defensive secondary. Third down and 3. Matt Rogers, short drop, pass away. Pass is caught, spot not good for the first down. Michael Titley, the tight end, was hit by Tommy Smith, number 15, the free safety, at the same time the ball arrived, and it's short of the first down.
Take a look back from behind the quarterback. It's an intimidating, aggressive style of defense. Tight coverage. Good throw by Rogers, but good coverage also, and I don't think they're going to pick up that first down.
Well, not if the spot just doesn't look like a first down from this angle. And it's not.
And the punting team is not being sent on the field yet, and here it comes. Well, we don't know. As 4 players are coming in. Just wonder if Hayden Fry would take a chance this early in the ballgame.
Well, 25, Hysack is the punter.
Okay, he's in.
Averaging 37 yards on 44.
But remember who we're dealing with here.
Well, I know. I hear you.
Hayden's got all the tricks in the book, and
who's up there short? Who are the people up in front of the punter?
There they go.
Willie. Blocked it. Huskies have it. Dana Hall. Touchdown. Andy Mason blocked it.
Try and pull some of the people out of there. Obviously, Hysack sees that he has to go ahead and punt the ball. The man doesn't get the block. Excuse me, it came up inside. That was
Andy Mason.
Mason that got the block, and Hall picked it up and ran it in.
Kick by Henson is good. And so the gimmick blows up in his hand, and Washington leads 10-0 with 7:15 to go, first quarter.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
It's Chevrolet Geo winter time, where everyone can win with the most fuel-efficient line of cars and trucks in America.
Sir, what's your favorite color?
Medium Quasar Blue Metallic.
Good guess. You can win with cash back or low financing on any Geo. Tracker, Storm, Prism. Miss, come here often?
I've never even bought a new car before.
Well, then you can win with a first-time buyer bonus on any Geo.
I love this Metro.
I can tell. Get to know Geo during wintertime at your Chevy Geo dealer.
It's an all-new Friday.
You look like a hunk of burning bride, baby.
Jesse's all shook up on Full House. Then Urkel's left out in the cold. Family matters, then.
I found some money.
How much? Around $40,000.
Will greed break up a friendship? Perfect strangers, then. It's a battle between the sexes with practical jokes as the weapon.
Sorry, we didn't know you had chicks up here.
Going places on an all-new Friday.
Let's go back and look. Look at that punt. Here's Mason right there next to the center. The man does not get the block. Mason gets right up the center. That's the easiest punt block you'll ever see.
Special teams and kicking game. Write it now.
That is the 5th punt that Iowa has had blocked this year. It cost them in the Minnesota game, and it cost them in the Michigan game, I believe it was.
Channing Wiles kicks it off. Low spinning kick, takes a bit of a funny bounce, bobbled around by Antilla. Finally finds a little running room and gets it up to about the 24, 25-yard line. Coming up next on ABC Sports, the end of our Bowl Fest, the Virginia Cavaliers and the Tennessee Volunteers, USF&G Sugar Bowl game. That follows the Rose Bowl. You're talking about speed. You'll get some speed.
Sean Moore is back and healthy and ready to play for Virginia.
Hayden walking up and down. Has had one blow up in his face. But the day is young. Let's see what happens. Matt Rogers sets him up. Hands the ball inside to number 34, Lou Montgomery. And Montgomery will get very little out of the play, a couple of yards, and that's all. Time remaining now, just under 7 minutes in the first quarter. Last time these two teams met, Washington was the winner in a shutout, 28-0. Second down, 7.5 or 8. They put Bell in the deep position out of the eye, the big man. Rogers options down the line. Matt turns the corner, picks up a Hawkeye first down at the 38-yard line. Dana Hall, the man who scored the touchdown a couple of minutes ago, making the tackle.
Matt Rogers will be doing a lot of autolyzing, changing the plays at the line of scrimmage. Washington defensively will put 8 and 9 men up to the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they'll come, sometimes they'll back out. They're a very aggressive, very intimidating defense, and Matt Rogers is key today for Iowa in the running game.
Don James pretty much giving Jimmy Lambright freedom to do what he wants, and Lambright's got the athletes. Boy, he has had himself some fun this season. This is Nick Bell cutting it back, and the big man doesn't go down easy. He's 255 pounds, and he took about 3 hard shots before he finally went down.
Bell played defensive line and running back in high school. Everybody was recruiting him to be a defensive lineman. He says, I don't want to be a defensive lineman. I want to be a running back. I don't care if I'm 255. Hayden says, you come to Iowa, son, and you can play tailback.
And that's why, right there. 6-yard pickup, second down and 4. You got Rogers checking off. Gives it back to Bell. Bell on the spin, averts losing yardage. He gains 1. He could have lost 3 or 4. Dave Huffman, number 54 in the purple shirt, led the Washington Huskies in tackles this past season. The ball is resting at the 45-yard line. They need 3 for the first down. Quarterback draw, nothing doing. Number 39, Chico Fraley, with some help from Hoffman.
There's Hoffman, 54. He reads this immediately. He had to be keying the offensive line because when Rogers was still dropping back, the show pass, he was stepping up, and he must have read an offensive lineman blocking down. Good read by Hoffman, and a punting situation for Iowa.
On 4th down and 4. That's Bino Bryant, the speedster. Second in the nation at this. The punt is away. It's a good high hanging kick. It forces Bryant into a fair catch inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. A 48-yard punt, 3:50 to go first quarter. Huskies by 10.
160 horses. That's what Chevy S10 packs into the biggest V6 engine ever put in a compact pickup. Enough power to help switch more truck owners to Chevy last year than to any other truck. The move to Chevy is becoming a stampede. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
So you claim you were getting your oil changed at your GM dealership. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how long did this take?
An hour, hour and a half.
Really? And isn't it true that the GM dealership in question is a Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus dealer? And isn't it also true that they guarantee a complete GM oil change, lube, and 10-point maintenance check in 29 minutes, or the next one is free?
Your GM dealer is serious about putting service back in the service department, so try Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus for a change.
Saturday, the road to Super Bowl 25 begins with an NFC wildcard playoff. The Washington Redskins make their first trip to the postseason since they won it all in Super Bowl 22. They face their division rivals, Randall Cunningham and the hard-hitting Philadelphia Eagles. Then the AFC wildcard playoff follows. Christian Okoye powers the Kansas City Chiefs into Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. The postseason party kicks off with a doubleheader Saturday on ABC Sports.
The Goodyear Blimp Columbia out of Carson, California, bringing you that postcard with Captain John Creighton out of Torrance at the controls. Look how blue that sky is. Oh, the grass will start growing if it stays this warm. Back to the links we go. So the Huskers will come up now. First down at their 8-yard line. You can see they put a lot of people away in the first half this season. And they're trying to do it right here to the Iowa Hawkeyes. But the Hawkeye defensive bunch ain't buying it. Number 93, Nelson, comes thundering in on Greg Lewis with a little help from Leroy Smith. Nelson is a sophomore from Stillwater, Minnesota. And playing basically because Jim Johnson hurt his knee in practice a couple of days ago. Really bad luck for Jimmy. Out of the end zone, Brunell's pass is off the hands of the intended receiver, the fullback Turner, out of the backfield.
That's the second time that Brunell has tried to hit Turner over the middle. Iowa plays mostly zone coverages because they don't have a lot of quick guys with speed to cover the wide receivers. We try to hit them in between. I think Hayden's feeling that that gimmick that backfired on him, Keith, the block punt, was probably his fault, put his team in a hole. But they've been a close-knit family. They've done it together as a team all year long, and I'm sure that he's got them hanging in there in the first quarter of this ball game.
He got trips to the bottom of the picture on 3rd down 11 now, and Lewis is the lone back. Ball rolling around on the ground, and Brunell has to cover it back at the 2-yard line. Now the Hawkeyes are going to make the Huskies punt out of the end zone. Tilla's average seen there just under 11. Channing Wiles has had 2 punts blocked this season. Here you don't want to get too frisky trying to block it because you can make a mistake, knock the kicker down, and let him keep the ball.
Well, you figure you're going to get good field position, at least on the other side of the 50-yard line.
Just make sure you get the ball. And Tilla out. Going to let it roll. That's a mistake. He could have picked it up. Now he's lucky. He gets an Iowa bounce and it rolls back across midfield. But if he picks up the ball and sticks his head down, he gets it back inside the 40 easy, maybe even close to the 30. I'll never forget, all through so many years, 4 decades of listening to coaches say, catch the ball.
why you see a lot of times guys that don't have a lot of speed and quickness back as punt returners, but they can catch the ball just for that reason right there.
Call it the Husky 44. First down. Matt Rogers, straight back, short drop, flat of his back, he goes. I mean, he is just flat planted by Mark Jones. He took a look right, came back to the left, and by then it was too late.
We talked about the aggressive style. Look at all these men. There's 10 men near the line of scrimmage. Right here is Jones. He's going to get in and make the sack. Very confusing defense for Washington. Rogers has got to recognize it, and for sure, if you're uncertain, you cannot take that much time.
But look, there were two Huskies right there, and there was another guy eating him up too. Jamie Field. The loss is back to midfield. Loss of 6 yards. Second down and 16. This time Matt goes deeper. His pass is away, and it is underthrown. The pass was intended for Danon Hughes, and he never had a chance. Charles Mincy was all over him.
Washington just tore up the Pac-10 defensively. You see all the number ones. They were first in everything. Total rushing defense, scoring defense, interceptions, fumbles, quarterback sacks. They were the best on third downs. They are very confusing. They don't line up in the conventional places. They have speed at cornerbacks, which allows them to play a lot of man-to-man coverage and do all this stuff that confuses offenses.
Third down. Got a problem. Number 90, Steve Ekman, the big sophomore tackle. And I mean, that is a big loss all the way back inside the 35. When you play the Huskies, you've got to defend against speed on both sides of the ball.
And they have not had it. A few years ago, that was one thing that Don James said he wanted to get. I remember, what was it, the 86 Sun Bowl. Yep. He played Alabama. He realized, he says, the one thing we need is speed, and after that, he went out and recruited it.
So now Iowa is back in, probably a little shell-shocked the way things are going. With Hysack in to do the punting. Last time it was blocked for a touchdown. This one's almost blocked, too. I mean, he just barely got it away. And at the 29-yard line, it's Vino Bryant making the reception. Tommy Smith was the man that almost blocked that punt. Games earlier today, Michigan over Ole Miss. The numbers of, you see, Elvis had a pretty good day, didn't he? So did Howard in catching Elvis. Clemson's always tough in postseason.
Yeah, but Illinois, I'm surprised there.
Look at the rambling wreck. Brunell back on first down. Gets away. And finally goes out of bounds. And he goes out of bounds right about the 20-yard line. So there's a pretty good loss on that play of about 9 yards. It was Matt Rulon, 57, and Rod Davis, 54, doing the damage for the Hawkeyes.
The defense for Iowa is, as we've mentioned, there's one big difference between these two teams. It's the speed of Washington against the physical size and toughness of Iowa. It's typical Pac-10, Big Ten type of football. And what Iowa likes to do is turn everything into the inside where those two tackles and the two inside linebackers can make the plays.
Brunell's throwing it. Number 22 bounces off the first attempted tackle. But Matt Jones then goes down on the second hit, and he goes down at about the 23-yard line. So we've played one at the 77th Rose Bowl. The Washington Huskies are leading 10-0. They own the ball, third down and 15.
How far do you think it is? Oh, about 140 miles. And there ain't a thing out there.
Reliability isn't a sticker you put on the windshield. It's something you darn well better design in from the start.
This is far.
This is forever.
You know, we're not selling these cars to mechanics. It could be someone like your mother, and they just gotta know they won't be left sitting somewhere by the side of the road.
I mean, that's the way I would want it if I was a customer.
Hey, look at this. Civilization. Sort of.
Hello?
Mr. O'Reilly, this is the MCI operator. I have a call from New York.
Hi, Uncle Mike.
Trish?
I have a little surprise for you.
Mrs. O'Reilly, I have a call from New York and San Diego.
Hello?
A call from the United States for Seamus O'Reilly.
I'll try and find him. He's in Ireland.
This is Meg O'Reilly.
Sarge, line 1. O'Reilly.
You're still chasing the bad guy, Sean.
Who is it?
It's everybody. I can't believe this.
Hello?
Seamus!
Who's this?
Happy New Year, Seamus!
Should old acquaintance be
For Old Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of pine. Yeah.
Which car has the best long-lasting protection against rust when scratched? Chevy Lumina, Ford Taurus, Honda Accord, or Mercedes-Benz? In these corrosion chambers, 30 days equals 2 years. Chevy Lumina's two-sided galvanized steel is unsurpassed in corrosion protection. With Ford, Honda, and Mercedes, sooner or later, you get this. By only scratching the surface, you can see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America.
That's today's Chevrolet.
The 1991 Rose Bowl. Brought to you by Honda, maker of fine quality automobiles. Test drive a Honda at your local dealer today. And by Ultra Slim Fast, a delicious, healthy way to lose weight fast.
Once again, the Iowa Hawkeye defense trying to pin the Washington Huskies deep on their end of the field and get good field position. They were able to do it a moment ago and get a possession at the 44, but couldn't do anything with it. Huskies are leading by a score of 10-0. They're looking at 3rd down and 15. Mark Brunell of Santa Maria, California, the Husky quarterback. Very good runner. Passes away. Passes incomplete. Right down in front of the Iowa bench.
Brunell's pass incomplete.
Intended for number 4, Orlando McKay. And Channing Wiles will have to come in and punt.
There's one weakness, Keith, for this offense, for this Washington team. It's their offensive passing game. Brunell, just a sophomore, completing only 47% of his passes. If you can stop the run and force him to throw, then you've got a chance to beat this Washington Husky team.
Yeah, but you got to take care of the rest of your business. And the Husky touchdown game on a block.
Yeah, it's exactly. And their defense is top. Teams have been trying doing that formula all season. They just haven't been able to get them in a passing situation.
Only UCLA was able to stop the run, and Brunell couldn't beat them on a cold, windy, stormy day in Seattle. That's a tremendous kick by Wiles. He knocked it all the way to Orange County, for heaven's sake. Jeff Antilla had to go all the way back to his 20 to receive it and get barely back to the 25. Well, here's a Husky that a lot of you will remember. His name, Warren Moon. And he's with Jackaroo.
And Keith, in 1978, he was voted the most valuable player when the Huskies went on to a Rose Bowl victory. But, Warren, you've got an injured thumb after playing with the Houston Oilers so well all season. You're in the playoffs against Cincinnati. But you played against that Kansas City team that's going up against Miami and Joe Robbie Stadium. What do you think the Dolphins are going to have to do to be victorious there?
Well, they're going to have to get some big plays, first of all. And they've got a guy who can do it in Dan Marino. The running game is going to have to be effective, and I think that's been effective for him all year long. It's going to be a good football game. The question for Kansas City is how well DeBerg's injury is or not.
Now, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Houston Oilers, you're not going to be able to play in that game. How is Houston going to win without you at quarterback?
Well, we did a good job last week, and the thing we have to do is rally around Cody, and our defense has to play very well and make some big plays, get some turnovers, and get us some good field position. If we can continue to do that, we've got the guys to get it done.
How about this year's Huskies compared to the team that you played with?
This is a more explosive team, I think. We were both pretty good football teams. This team didn't surprise anyone. You know, our team surprised everyone when nobody knew who we were, but this team has been great all year long.
Keith? Warren Moon out of Morningside High School here in the Los Angeles area. The Huskies, meantime, were penalized as a result of that penalty. They lose a 58-yard punt by Channing Wiles. They bring the ball back to the 14-yard line, and Channing's got to do it all over again. And now Antillo moves up to his own 43, 44-yard line to accept the punt.
That was a big mistake for the Huskies. That was a great punt, and Iowa really backed up.
Got a little heat on him, and it's another heck of a punt, Bob. Look at that thing. I mean, he's getting all juiced up here. But still, it is a 10-yard difference. It's a 59-yard punt this time, but because of the penalty, it's 10 yards farther up the field for Iowa from the 25 to the 35.
Let's take a look at the first quarter stats. Look at the total yards, 56 for Washington, only 7 total yards in the first quarter for Iowa. The big play is not on that stat sheet, and that is the block punt, which turned into 7 points for Washington.
The Hawkeyes come up now with Tony Stewart in at tailback. Tony's 210 pounds, a little quicker than Bell. He'll get to the hole quicker. He's a good player. Rogers throws incomplete. William Doctor knocked that ball away from Tony Stewart, who had slid to the outside. Let's pause 5 seconds right here so our ABC stations can identify themselves. It's 14:25 to go in the first half of play at the 77th Rose Bowl game. Washington leads Iowa 10-0. 23-yard field goal by Travis Henson and a blocked kick for a touchdown. Little lob out into the flats, almost picked off. I mean, number 28, Eric Briscoe, almost put that baby in the basket. It was intended for Mike Saunders.
Briscoe has been the big play man in that secondary. He came into the ball game with 6 interceptions on the year, and he also picked up a fumble and ran it in for a touchdown. Washington continues to shift defenses at the line of scrimmage. Very confusing to Matt Rogers. And it's really a tribute to their defensive coordinator, Jim Lambright, that he's got these young kids playing at such a high level defensively.
On 3rd and long, Rogers gets his pass off down the middle. Pass is caught by Tony Stewart. Stewart is still going. He's inside the 30. And he's down to the 26-yard line, and a first down and a threat all of a sudden for the Hawkeyes. Make it the 27. That's a 38-yard gain.
Look at number 90 in the purple jersey. He's going to push his man straight back into Rogers. Rogers has to turn around, does not lose presence of mind, gets the ball downfield to the receivers, and a huge play to get Iowa out of their own end of the field and get some momentum going in their direction.
Ball is put down at the 28-yard line of Washington, where it's first down Hawkeyes, and Nick Bell is back at tailback. Rogers rolls out, throws it underneath. Pass is caught by Montgomery coming out of the backfield, but not much on the play. It's just over the 25-yard line. The Washington corners, Bob, Mincy and Hall, and sometimes Doctor. I mean, these guys are really active.
Well, in talking with Jim Lambright, the coordinator, he says the reason we can do all that stuff inside defensively and confuse everybody in disguise is because of the 2 corners out there. And also Doctor, the 3rd corner. Hall, Mincy, and Doctor, they've got great speed and they can cover man-to-man.
That's the secret. If you got that kind of talent, then your other people can do a lot of things. This is Bell bouncing outside. Oh, man. Oh, I mean, look at that big guy put the head down and rumble. First down, Hawkeyes U.S. 15-yard line, and I mean he buried Tommy Smith. He flat ran right over him, and Smith is about as tough a sophomore as I've ever seen.
We talked about Iowa, what their strength was, and it was ball control. And if they can get that going, no matter how fast and how quick the Washington defensive players are, if you can send that big 255-pound bull at them all these times, it's going to slow them down.
Here he goes again. It's touchdown, Iowa!
From behind the defense, Hoffman, 54, blitzes himself out of it. This guy is so big, he makes a move up the middle and then has the presence of mind and the foot speed and quickness to bounce outside, around and into the end zone, and a big score for the Hawkeyes.
Morale just soared on the white shirt side. The kick is good by Skillet. And it's 12:39 to go in the first half, and we got a ball game.
Spend less time at the pump. The CRX HF from Honda.
Hello? Mr. O'Reilly, this is the MCI operator. I have a call from New York.
Hi, Uncle Mike.
Trish?
I have a little surprise for you.
Mrs. O'Reilly, I have a call from New York and San Diego.
Hello?
A call from the United States for Seamus O'Reilly.
I'll try and find him.
He's in Ireland.
This is Meg O'Reilly.
Sarge, line 1. O'Reilly.
You're still chasing the bad guy, Sean.
Who is it?
It's everybody. I can't believe this.
Hello?
Seamus!
Who's this?
Happy New Year, Seamus!
Should old acquaintance meet one day home like that?
For on Valentine, we'll take a cup of pine. Yeah.
Tennessee sends its volunteers into battle against the Virginia Cavaliers. It's the USF&G Sugar Bowl, next on ABC Sports.
Mr. Nicholas Bell, who has just taken the hammer in hand and slammed it into the end zone for the Hawkeyes.
He grew up in Las Vegas. He was the state heavyweight wrestling champion of Nevada. He also, last spring, ran on the track team, the indoor track team for the University of Iowa. That's versatility.
And he's an artist. Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith's a little hot because he was one of the guys that Nick Bell ran over on that big play a while ago. Now, this is the end of Colorado Boulevard and Sierra Madre here in Pasadena. That's the end of the parade route. That's where the floats are on display. And look at the people. They said they had well over 1 million people, they thought, today watching the parade. You know, the football game gets so much attention around the country, but I want to tell you something. The parade is still the thing as far as the Tournament of Roses is concerned.
There's a lot of people in the hotel that were going to the parade that didn't even know there was a game going on.
This is Greg Lewis. He's out in the open. Does he have the speed? Number 13 gets in for the Hawkeyes. Olenczak ran him down from behind. 43-yard run by Greg Lewis.
The Iowa Hawkeyes flowing to their left. Derby 31 is going to be pushed aside. 19 is Clark, does not make the tackle. He's the free safety. And the last line of defense, there you see right there the offensive player of the year in the Pac-10 Conference. 9 games over 100 yards this year rushing.
Ball just inside the 29. Lewis out for a breather. Bean O'Brien in for the Huskies. Little handoff inside to the fullback, Matt Jones. And Jones, you can hear up here. Boom, as he goes down hard. He got about 5 yards. Leroy Smith took him down.
Ball's on the 25-yard line.
Time remaining first half, 12 minutes.
Gain to 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Offensively, Washington's not so bad either. You know, we showed you all the first defensively. They're pretty good offensively also.
They brought that ball back to the 25 and make it a 2nd down and 7 with Turner in. Lewis back. Lewis with the ball. He has great ability. He's a skater like all good runners are. He has a very good quickness at changing direction. Saw an example of it there. Melvin Foster, let me call his name, Bob, number 66. He made the tackle.
Just going to say, Keith, you know, you're talking about Lewis. He's got that huge offensive line of the Huskies to run behind, and a small man like Lewis, the shiftiness, can dart through the holes. He's an outstanding player. This team is going to be good next year. They returned 17 starters, including their 2 kickers for Washington.
Yeah, that's scary. 3rd down, long yard. Lewis doesn't get it. Smith. Olenczak. And Foster. Stop him. 4th and 2 coming up. And here comes Travis Henson. He's kicked a 23-yarder already. So this combination of people must handle the ball here for Washington. Hanson to kick it, Brunell to hold it, and Mark Kilpack, who is a tight end, to snap it.
Travis Hanson will attempt the field goal.
From the 28. It's good. At 9:57 to go first half. 13-7, Washington.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most people coast to coast? Who did you think?
What makes the Honda Accord so different? Honda's advanced technology. In fact, one of the most amazing attributes of the Accord is its ability to transport you into the future. Really, just get in and bingo, the future. Now, can your car do that?
Guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most places across the country. Who did you think?
Saturday, the road to Super Bowl 25 begins with an NFC wildcard playoff. The Washington Redskins make their first trip to the postseason since they won it all in Super Bowl 22. They face their division rivals, Randall Cunningham and the hard-hitting Philadelphia Eagles. Then the AFC wildcard playoff follows. Christian Okoye powers the Kansas City Chiefs into Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. The postseason party kicks off with a doubleheader Saturday on ABC Sports.
Hi, Jason!
Well, the Huskies got their big run out of Lewis, but the Hawkeye defense made them settle for 3 again as Travis Henson hits it from 38.
Go, Doug!
So he's got 2 on the day, and Washington leads it by 6 at 13-7. Danon Hughes and Jeff Antilla are the deep people for Iowa now, and they're kind of looking up into a bright sun as Wiles kicks off high at the 10-yard line. This is Hughes. And he goes down about the 24. Tony Stewart comes in at tailback. Tony had a big play in the Iowa touchdown drive. Stewart with a pass reception and a big run, and then two great runs by Nick Bell. Stewart to the 30, 6-yard pickup. Tony is from Union, New Jersey. He's a senior.
A couple years ago as a sophomore, Stewart ran for 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards. A sophomore, had a serious knee injury, had surgery, and came back last year, but wasn't all the way back. He shares time now with Bell. Both of them gained over 700 yards. In fact, over 800 yards.
Paul Kuyava is in the ball game at fullback for the Hawkeyes, number 23. It's Stewart again. Tony is outside the 32. He's a couple of yards short of the first down. Well, you get used to that big guy, you know, beating on you. And then Tony comes in. He's a little smaller.
The slasher.
Slasher, and right. You're used to reaching at a certain pace, and he's gone.
Well, if you get reaching for this guy, and then the other one comes in, that 255-pounder.
Now you got a broken arm.
He's going to run over you. And they're both number ones, and that's why Hayden Fry is alternating him the way he does.
On 3rd and 2, they throw. It's intercepted. Might go for 6. Touchdown, Charles Mincy. That's a very bad play by Matt Rogers.
Well, you don't know if it's Matt Rogers or if it's the wide receiver. He was obviously throwing a quick out. Mincy read it better than the wide receiver did. That's 2 defensive scores for Washington.
Yeah, but he didn't have that many people in front of him. He had to see a purple shirt out there. I was watching with the glasses. I didn't see a white shirt in the neighborhood.
I'm talking about the wide receiver. I'll show you in a minute.
I understand. They're going to go for 2 here. Brunell back. Throws a hummer, incomplete. That wasn't a very good pass there either, because where he threw the ball, it was not in the end zone. Intended for Mario Bailey. Here's the touchdown.
Well, here you go. The receiver's going to go down, and he's going to run a deep route. He's supposed to run out like this. Mincy is here. He's going to see it all of the way. 1, 2, 3, and throw. Now stop it, run it back a minute. If we can run it back, we'll show you. Run it back now. The other receivers were all breaking short. Run it back a little bit more. All the way back. Run it all the way back. The reason, keep going. All the other receivers, stop it here. The other receivers were all running short routes. This receiver was running deep. The quarterback was 3 steps and out. I think he got a bad play by his wide receiver, Keith.
All right, I take it back then. But
no matter
Washington won't give back the point.
No, the defense has still blocked a punt and intercepted a pass for a touchdown. Those are tough things to overcome if you're a Hawkeye.
19-7 now for the Huskies. He came out of Odessa, Texas. This man, Fry, late quarterback at Baylor. Went off to the Marine Corps. Came back to coach. High school, then college, then a head man at SMU, North Texas, and on to Iowa. And he's shaking his head.
Well, he's a quarterback. He knows exactly, calls the plays. He knows exactly what happened and why. There's a look at Hughes, number 3, and Mincy, number 1. The problem is Hughes reads Mincy breaking out already. He says if he's going to break out, he's going. You cannot do that. You got to run your route and let the quarterback read that you're not open and go somewhere else. You don't change your route in the middle of it.
And so the Huskies will kick off again. Low line drive, bouncing kick. It is fielded at the 8-yard line by Danon Hughes. Obviously thoroughly chagrined. He gives everything he's got to get it back to the 32-yard line.
Go back and look at the 2-point attempt.
This ball is not thrown into the end zone.
Obviously it's a quick out. It's the same route that Iowa ran. Just went down. He just didn't get into the end zone. Now, a lot of times the reason they don't get in the end zone is because the defensive back is sitting there ready to jam you.
That's right. Won't let you in.
Yeah, that's right.
33-yard line, first down for the Hawkeyes, and Tony Stewart is the tailback. Got the ball, pops out of the crowd. Ball rolling around on the ground. Huskies have the ball. Ball was knocked loose from Tony Stewart just as he broke out of the pack. Pat Flood called it right away, and on the ball, Dana Hall, the second big play of the day for Dana.
Both the guards are going to pull. Stewart has a nice hole up inside. Not the first man that gets it loose. There it comes. That's Mincy, who just intercepted for a touchdown. He knocks it loose, and Hall, who picked up the block punt for a score, got the fumble.
Brunell. No, it's not Brunell. It is Hobert. Billy Joe Hobert, the redshirt freshman from Puyallup, Washington. Bigger guy at 6'3", 225. Getting a little playing time here with 8 minutes to go in the first half. He was the young man that we thought we might see in that UCLA game, remember?
Yeah.
And he never did.
I think there's something wrong with Brunell, because Hobert has only thrown 6 passes all year. He's 4 of 6. You just don't put him in this situation at Rose Bowl unless there's something wrong with your starter.
Wondering about Nick Bell, too. You haven't seen him in a while. Hobert on an option. And they make him play a little there. Finally, Derby. John Derby, the inside linebacker, gets a hit on somebody. Derby and Melvin Foster were just piled up the tackles during the season past. But they haven't been able to get much done so far today until now.
It's obvious that Hobert is no Brunell in running the option. He certainly doesn't have the speed, but you're right, with Derby and Foster, the Iowa defense is channeled to funnel everything to those two and let them run from sideline to sideline making plays.
Nobody back there behind Hobert. Pass is underneath. Intercepted! Ball comes out as he goes down, but the interception stands by Eddie Polly. You know what happened? Hobert just threw the ball too hard. It went right through the hands of Bino Bryant, who was wide open.
We're checking to see if anything is wrong with Brunell. That's very unusual. We get word that there's nothing wrong with him, but you know, Hobert's thrown 6 passes all year. In the middle of the second quarter, it's just tough.
Here's Jack Caruth.
Yeah.
Jack, go ahead.
Well, Keith, we checked and see if maybe there was a problem with Mark Brunell. You know, he suffered from the flu earlier in this week. But according to Don James' staff, they just elected to let Billy Joe Hobert have a series of downs. And as it turns out, it was a costly series for the Washington Huskies.
Well, there he is.
Well, he did have the flu some, but it was 5 or 6 days ago. But if there is a good time in a Rose Bowl game to put him in, that last series was it.
Yep. Got to season him. Nick Bell is back. Rogers throws, going big, down the middle. No. Incomplete forward pass. Sean Smith has the ball on his hands, and Dana Hall and Charles Mincy back there, and Hall is the man that flicks it away from him.
Mincy has made about 4 good plays, and we're not even into halftime yet. Take a look at the play action. Good call by Fry. Gets some good time to throw. Ball is a little bit underthrown and should have been caught. I mean, that's a tough catch. Hall and Mincy are right there, but wouldn't have made any difference because the offense was holding.
That'll back him up 10 yards. I'm impressed by that Mincy and Hall combo at the corners.
Now you know what they were talking about with having corners that can play and allow them to do whatever they want to inside defensively.
First and 20.
Dave Burnson, our statistician, tells me that on that play in which Tony Stewart fumbled, he did, however, become the all-time Iowa rusher with 2,567 yards. But he didn't get to the end of it with the ball. Rogers hands the ball to Nick Bell. Bell loses his footing as he started to come back over the right side and looked like he may well have fallen over the center. Mike Devlin, the big sophomore from Malden, New Jersey, the center. Nobody plays on the offensive line anymore, Bob, less than 275 pounds.
Well, you're right. I mean, and then he's considered small. I mean, if they're 250, they're small. But it's coming down from where it was a few years ago. I think with the steroid testing and all that other stuff, that it's coming back down some. It'll never be back down to the 250s and 40s where it was before.
Second down and 22. That pass is thrown too high. The pass was intended for Sean Smith, and Dana Hall was right there again. The Honda Scholar Athletes of the Year, brought to you by American Honda, supporting amateur athletics. This year's Pac-10 award goes to Jason Hansen, the junior place kicker and punter, Washington State University. The Big Ten Scholar Athlete of the Year, Don Davey, senior defensive tackle, University of Wisconsin. Honda presenting a check for $2,000 to the General Scholarship Funds of Washington State University and the University of Wisconsin. On third down and 22, the pass is incomplete, intended for John Falloon. And now the Hawkeyes will have to punt it away. Story of the game, Washington defense.
No question about it. They came in, and we showed you in the graphic, leading the Pac-10 in every team defensive category. And they are giving the Iowa offense and Rogers all kinds of problems. Rogers so far 3 of 10 with an interception and 2 sacks.
You're looking at another prime weapon in the kicking game, Bino Bryant. Jim Hysack had one blocked for a TD, had another one almost blocked. Had one really big kick. Gets it out. That's a good punt. Bryant drifts over to his 32. Here he comes. Back to the Iowa 39-yard line. 43-yard punt, 28-yard return. 5:57 to go, first half.
The Accord 4-door sedan. We took a good idea and built on it. Introducing the Accord wagon from Honda.
I'm a second-half quarterback.
Now that was a stellar performance.
Super Buckets.
Have some chicken. You look weak.
His arm is weak. It's called aging.
From Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Trivia, guys. Who has the record for most fumbles? You mean before today?
15 pieces of chicken or a supersized bucket of hot wings, just $9.99 each.
Wait till the second half.
All right, rally.
Anytime you're ready, gentlemen.
Super Buckets from KFC.
Come on.
Monday, They're your average American couple leading a double life. But in a world where battle lines crisscross, it's a dangerous time to go undercover. Anthony Dennison, Linda Pearl, John Rhys Davies, Undercover, Monday.
The plotting goes on upstairs.
Bottom right there behind the section in the window is Jim Lambright, the defensive coordinator, who's together an outstanding defense. Behind him are formations drawn up offensively and defensively in case they want to go down and talk about something at halftime. They can put it up there very quickly and talk about it at half.
Mark Brunell is back at quarterback. Greg Lewis is back at tailback. And it's first down Huskies as Lewis runs the ball to the 25-26-yard line. 27-yard line. I haven't guessed right yet. Right foot, left foot. Shadows now starting to reach out on the field as we come up past 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. What a lovely day it is in Pasadena, California. Brunell gives the ball back to Lewis. And Greg, who is from Seattle, getting his degree on schedule, brought down by Derby and Smith. Big John Derby, a junior from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, 6'2", 225. Melvin Foster, the other linebacker inside for them, number 66. They're going to lose him. He's gone. He's a senior. He's from Houston, Texas.
Derby likes to study the films, does a lot of film watching with Coach Bill Brazier, as a brother that plays with the New Orleans Saints.
Howard Schnellenberger making a statement with his Louisville Cardinals, isn't he? Brunell runs right, left-hander sets up, throws, pass is caught inside the 15-yard line by Mark Kilpack. Kilpack, number 81, a senior out of Beaverton, Oregon, is the man who does the snapping for the Huskies on their field goal game.
When your running game is going, the play-action fakes work. Top left of your screen is Kilpack. He was a starter 2 years ago, had some problems with injuries, and then when Pierce came on and played so well, he couldn't get a starting job back, but they use them both quite often.
So it's a first down for the Huskies inside the 15. Greg Lewis veers to the 10.
Greg Lewis across the 10-yard line.
That'll be a pickup of 4 yards, and it'll be second down and 6 and time remaining 4 minutes. If they put 7 on the board here, they're in a catbird seat going to the clubhouse at halftime.
Well, remember this, Keith, the offense has not scored a touchdown yet.
Nope.
I mean, they've scored a field goal, or 2. They've scored 2 field goals, but it's been the defense and the special teams that have scored the other 2 touchdowns. So the offense of Don James is, hey, you guys haven't done any touchdowns for me yet. Come on.
Defensive guys will be served by the offense going home. Here's the pitch to Lewis. He's around the corner and rolled out of bounds. Right around the 5. I mean, with that size up front, 275, 280, 280, 300. It's kind of like you're running downhill when you're running behind a crowd like that.
Well, they've always had big offensive linemen at Washington, but they have never had the quickness. In the last couple of seasons, they've not only maintained their strength, but they've worked on their quickness, and now they have both.
3rd and a yard for the first down. Lewis is hammered right at the line of scrimmage, but the forward surge may be enough. That Husky you saw a moment ago, that Sundancer, or Sun Dodger, I guess it is, Sun Dodger. Gonna put it down where?
Washington has twice as many rushing touchdowns this year as they did last year, and also twice as many rushing yards.
4th down and a half a yard, and they're going to go for it. Brunell still got it. He's got a touchdown. Foot speed.
The advantage of having a quarterback that can move. 4th and 1. You see Kirkland, number 51, coming out. Now he has 3 receivers, but none of them really look good to him. He has what Bill Frazier, the coordinator for Iowa, says is the fastest quarterback they've played all year. Reminds him a lot of Steve Young, who plays backup to Montana with the 49ers. Left-handed, runs well.
Hansen. Travis is running up some big numbers today, isn't he? 26-7, Huskies.
This is a total
defensive guys.
That's the 9th straight game in which Brunell has rushed for a touchdown. In fact, he has accounted for 26 touchdowns this year, 15 passing, and 10 rushing, I believe, and maybe he caught one. There's a bunch of them.
High, deep kick by Wiles, way back. Hughes will put it down. It'll come out to the 20. And Saturday, the NFL playoffs will begin on ABC Sports. The Washington Redskins will go against the old division rival Philadelphia Eagles. Randall Cunningham and company. Coverage begins with a pregame show at 12 noon Eastern, and then at 4 Eastern, playoff continues with Kansas City at Miami. Live coverage Saturday here on ABC Sports, the home of Super Bowl 25.
Great job.
The Miami game, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Marty Schottenheimer, what a great job he's done. And Shula, of course, bringing that team back.
First down from the 20 for Iowa. Second quarter's been kind of rough on the Hawkeyes. Down the sidelines, past Bell. And Bell can't hold on. There's Mincy on the coverage. No, it's Collins. Brett Collins on the coverage, 46.
It was intended for number 43, Nick Bell.
Tournament house, where all the planning is done for this festival. One of the old grand old homes in Pasadena that's been turned into another function. Just over the road is the Arroyo. That once was a wasteland and now has been turned into a playland. Golf course, tennis courts. Rose Bowl is used a lot for swap meets in quiet time and very successful. Look at that Entman. Look at it. He's pulling 3 guys back. Finally, Rogers throws and the pass is incomplete. And that time, Matt Rogers had all day to throw the ball. But Entman, he just gets his neck bowed and just starts coming, and it's virtually impossible to handle him, I guess, one-on-one.
Nobody can block him. He is the second-team All-American, the co-defensive player of the year, just a sophomore defensive lineman. Winning an award such as the defensive player of the year along with Darrell Lewis. They just said he's relentless. Nobody can block him. He fits well into this defensive scheme because of all the different aggressive plays at the line of scrimmage. They never know who to block and where he's coming from.
Third down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. And he goes. Donald Jones, 3rd sack by the Husky defense. Donald Jones is a junior, and he is from Gladys, Virginia. And I got to tell you, I know where most towns and places are, but I don't know where Gladys is.
Well, he certainly is playing well. He came into the ball game with 6 sacks, and Rogers and the Hawkeyes are going to have to go in at halftime and regroup because they have seen what all of the Pac-10 teams have seen so far, and that is the Washington Huskies' speed, and especially speed on their defense.
Right now, Don James, the man who came out of Ohio, came west from Kent State, brought out by Mike Lude, and he's become the dean of the Pac-10 coaches. Sunday night, Mark Harmon stars as America's first Public Enemy #1, Dillinger. Twin Peaks Sherilyn Finn co-stars in an ABC world premiere movie. Dillinger Sunday at 9/8. I'm sorry, folks. I've known Mark Harmon all his life. I just can't think of Mark Harmon as Dillinger. Mark, of course, the son of an great old friend that we lost earlier this year, Tom Harmon, old 98. Really a terrific youngster, Mark. Done very well.
Lost another friend yesterday in George Allen. Wasn't that a shock?
Indeed. At 2:17 to go in the first half. High, good kick. Knocks it out of bounds, keeping it away from Bino Bryant. He brought it back the last time he put his hands on it for 28 yards. That's a 35-yard punt, but it's a better net than he had the last time off of a 50-yarder close to it. And so the Huskies own the football, first down at the Iowa 45, in control right now. The Hawkeyes have had no good luck. I'm not sure the Huskies have had a whole lot of good luck either. They have made it.
Well, the Hawkeyes have made some big mistakes.
They certainly have.
The interception and the block punt, they've helped the Huskies.
Brunell sets it up underneath for Aaron Pierce. And the big tight end junior from Seattle moves the ball down about 5 yards. We'll see both fans at halftime.
36 on the front.
Brunell just shakes off the pursuit, delivers the pass to Pierce again. 2 pet catches in a row by Pierce. That time Melvin Foster put a lump on Pierce.
Foster is the emotional leader of that defensive team. Led the team in tackles this past season.
3rd down and 2. Brunell's pass to the sidelines. Too high. And incomplete, intended for Orlando McKay. So it brings in 4th and 2.
Pass was incomplete, intended for number 4, Orlando McKay.
And they'll go for it.
A minute 19 left in the half.
With a minute 19, they pick up first down here. Stick it in the end zone is exactly what Don James has in mind, and they have control with another touchdown.
I think they have control right now.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they really have it. There's your first down. Pierce, the tight end, makes 3 catches in that series, brought down finally by Brian Weiss. And Washington's in business down near the 22-yard line. No huddle.
First and 10 at the Iowa 22.
Hawkeyes in trouble. Brunell back. Shot down the pipe. That pass is incomplete or not?
No, I think it's incomplete.
Yeah, he knocked it loose at the last second.
Gary Pinkel is the offensive coordinator for the Huskies and has really brought Brunell along. He didn't play hardly at all last year. And although they rely heavily on their option game and their run game, Brunell is becoming gradually a better passer throughout the season. He threw a lot of screens and a lot of easy stuff, but they also let him throw the ball downfield on occasion, and he's doing it well here today.
1:03 to play, 2 timeouts remaining. Loops it up into the end zone. Touchdown, Huskies. Mario Bailey.
here's Bailey out here. He's just going to go down here and run to the corner, deep to the corner of the end zone. Protection is perfect. Brunell lays it the only place he can. Let him catch it or let it be thrown out of bounds.
Right behind Scott Plate. Travis Hansen has 9 points in the ball game. And you've got 58 seconds remaining in the first half.
There's Bailey, number 5. Scott Plate is inside of him, trying to keep him from going to the middle of the field. That's pretty good coverage using the back of the end zone as a 12th man for you, but this throw is right there. You can't do it any better. Bailey was the leading receiver for the Huskies coming into the ball game with 40 catches and 6 touchdown passes.
You know, 40 catches in this particular system is a lot of catches, isn't it? That's a lot of balls to catch.
Certainly is. They came in much heavy running and much more than passing.
Jack Arute with a report.
Keith, you know, the Washington Huskies make a lot of use of duplicate numbers, and I was just wondering, when was the last time in a Rose Bowl where 2 players with the same number scored touchdowns? One on offense and one on defense. 2 number 5s for a pair of 6s this afternoon.
You know what? It's never happened.
How do you know it's never happened?
I just know it hasn't.
Dana Hall, the defensive back, and Mario Bailey, both number 5.
That's Danon Hughes, and he pounds his way back across the 35. Well, you realize that half of the games, or in fact, probably more than half the games played in the Rose Bowl history were played one platoon, right?
Yeah, a lot of them were.
And
there aren't many teams.
2 5s or something.
There aren't many teams with double numbers.
Nope. Nope. First down for the Hawkeyes at the 37 now. And 51 seconds to play in the first half. This is Nick Bell. Bell had 2 runs, including a touchdown for the season highlights film sometime back, which stimulated everybody to think we were going to have a pretty good headbanger. And now all of a sudden the Huskies have just blown it up open at 33-7.
Well, for you eternal optimists, both teams came into the game averaging 36 points, so they both can put them on the board, but this defense is something special for Washington.
Yeah, they are now traveling downhill.
Rogers pass complete to
That's
Nick Bell.
just short of a first down.
Dave Hoffman made the tackle. Timeout, Iowa, number 1.
7 seconds left. Iowa wants one more play in the first half. It'll be third down and about a yard for the Iowa Hawkeyes with only 7 seconds to play. The position of the ball is just beyond their own 46. As you look down on the fabled old Rose Bowl, renovation is in its future. Thank goodness. Going to get Greasy a longer ladder. Rogers getting some heat and will go down. The ball is rolling around. It is academic. The time has expired if there is no flag, and there isn't one. The half is over. And the Washington Huskies are in control of this 77th Rose Bowl game, 33-7. Back with more after this message and a word from our ABC station.
People brave the chilly weather today and watch John Engler take his oath on the steps of the state capitol. Let's listen.
I, John Engler, do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and to faithfully perform
the
duties of the office of Governor
to
the best of my ability.
So
help me God.
So help me God.
Sound like he was getting choked up there. One of the first tasks Governor Engler must deal with is the state's budget, which is projected to be $450 million in the red. In the meantime, outgoing former Governor James Blanchard is headed for a vacation somewhere warm. An off-duty state of Michigan motor carrier officer was shot to death this morning. The body of the 39-year-old man was found next to the Citgo gas station on West 7 Mile in Detroit. Now, a passing citizen found him in a car with a gunshot to the head. Police have no suspects or motive at this time. Detroit police are investigating a drive-by shooting that took the life of a 34-year-old Detroit man. The shooting happened around 1 o'clock on Decatur on the city's west side. And the Wolverines brought their steamroller to the Gator Bowl, crushing Mississippi by a score of 35-3. We'll bring you that and all the news tonight after the football game. See you then.
Exercise is an attitude about yourself. It's not a craze. It's not a trend. It's an attitude about life. Are you going to get in there? And are you going to fight? And are you going to do something where you're in control of it? There's a payoff for me, and I want that edge. I don't want to lose that edge.
Resolutions don't cut it. Exercise does. Vic Tanny. Start now at last year's rates. Pay nothing for 30 days.
The men's shoes you want are on sale right now at Sherman Shoes. For a limited time, save from 20% up to 1/2 off the price of selected dress, casual, and athletic shoes, including Florsheim, Giorgio Brutini, Cole Haan, H.H. Brown, and Timberland. The Sherman Shoes 20% to 1/2 off men's shoe sale. Call 1-800-421-SHOE for the Sherman's location nearest you. Sherman Shoes. We're in most major malls and in thousands of smart men's closets.
The 7-Eleven Bowl Bash. In case unexpected guests drop by, stock up and save on all your beer and all your soft drinks at the 7-Eleven Bowl Bash. The 7-Eleven Bowl Bash, official sponsor of all your bowl game needs.
Happy New Year from all of us at Channel 7.
A 33-7 ball game at halftime. All Washington in the first half, except for one brief moment of offensive adventure by the Hawkeyes. This on the mind of many, obviously. As we said at the very beginning of the day, we hope that chore is a very simple one for our guys and gals. Here's Jackaroot.
Keith, things have not been going very well for Coach Hayden Fry, obviously by the score. On the last series of downs before the end of the half, Nick Bell, their 255-pound running back, came up out of a pileup with a twisted back. They've checked him over during halftime, though, and they say he is cleared to play, but he's still hurting.
Well, they need all the tools they can find.
And plenty of time to rest after this one, don't you?
Yep. Kenning Wiles will kick it off for the Washington Huskies. Mike Saunders is back with Danon Hughes. It's a long, high, deep kick way back in the end zone. Hughes will not return it. Ball will come out to the 20, and there the Hawkeyes will go to work. And let's see who the people are who come out here to answer the bell in the second half. You obviously presume that it will be Matt Rogers. Jim Hartlieb is the first backup. Rogers has just had only one instance can I remember where he had what you would consider a lot of time to throw a football.
Well, you're right. He's been harassed all day. He's only completed 4 of 13 for 50 yards.
He's back on first down to let it rip. Throws it away. He had his tight end Titley out there in the neighborhood, but John Cook had really pretty much put him away before he could do anything about it. Cook being 93.
Here's what Iowa did with the ball when they had it in the first half. First was a block punt. The third drive was -3, and then they punted. They finally got a touchdown on the board on their 4th possession. Then they had an interception, a fumble, 2 drives that lost yardage, and then the end of the half. Not very productive.
They've just taken Bell out of the ball game and put in another wideout. The Iowa tight end, as you can see there, stands up. Here's one of the gimmick plays. Titley is going to throw it. Lets it fly, and it is caught by John Falloon. First down, Hawkeyes, down on the 27. We knew that play was in the book, and we knew and had seen Titley throw the ball before, but he threw one right on the money. But still, they had to get a ricochet off of a defender to make the completion.
Going to roll to our left and then throw back to the tight end, Titley, on the right side. Now, how many times you see a tight end with this kind of moves? He got away from one defender, then throws it 55 yards, and he's lucky that it was completed. It ends up being a 53-yard completion to Falloon.
It could well have been an interception going the other way by Tommy Smith. From the 27, and the ball inside to Nick Bell, and nothing.
And there was just nothing there. The defensive line is just closing it down on the Iowa offensive line. Iowa came into the game averaging 233 yards on the ground.
Just starting the third quarter of play, and Washington on top, defense having been utterly dominant, 33-7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up on the line. Bell's pass is away, a timing pass. This time it works. Last time they ran that play, it was interception, 6 points the other way. But this time Hughes went the right way, and it works.
You can see some confidence in the Hawkeye players offensively this first drive of the third quarter. Obviously, Hayden Fry and his coaching staff has done a good job of explaining what the Washington defense was doing in the first half and saying, this is what we're going to do in the second half, and let's go out and do it. Now, that'll work well maybe on this drive, and then Washington will adjust to what they're doing.
First down at the Husky 15-yard line, and whistles.
Ball start on the offense. Repeat first down.
That's Pat Flood out of the Pac-10, working at the head of a split crew today of officials. But the ball comes back to the 20, and it's first down and 15. There's John Falloon. When he shows up, they normally want to get the ball to him, or he becomes a principal receiver. He's a junior from Menson, Iowa. Rogers hands it up the middle to Montgomery, and Montgomery with a good strong run down to about the 8-yard line.
Down inside the 10-yard line. Finally,
that'll leave him 2.5, 3 yards short of the first down.
Ball's at the 8-yard line.
Now you got new people checking into the Iowa lineup. Number 23, Kuyaba. sophomore from Cudahy, Wisconsin, is in. Saunders, number 32, is in. Bell stays. Rogers turns it up. Touchdown, Hawkeye. Well, now, that's impressive. That shows you this team has some character. But then you know full well that a team that can go on the road and win at Michigan State, and at Illinois, they don't scare too easy.
The testimony to that man right there, Hayden Fry. Fry, this team has gotten as far as it has this year. A lot of heart, a lot of togetherness, a family attitude. Stick together, get it done. When you're this many points behind against a defense that's this good, you just wonder if they can come all the way back.
Whoa, the snap was high, but it is handled by Hartlieb. Jim did a good job getting it down. And the kick is good. And at 12:53 to go in the third quarter, it's 33-14, the Huskies.
Chrysler announces the Golden Advantage. Cash back of $500 or $1,000 on Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager, the gold standard of minivans. $1,000 or $2,500 cash back on Jeep Cherokee, the gold standard of four-wheel drives. And $300 to $3,000 cash back on other Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth, and Jeep Eagle gold standards. The Golden Advantage. The savings are like the quality. Good as gold. Hurry, savings end soon.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to more businesses than anyone else in the business? Who did you think?
If you're like a lot of people, you're probably trying to cut back on caffeine. You certainly don't want to find it in unexpected places. So you might be surprised to learn that your pain reliever may contain caffeine. Check the label. There is no caffeine in Tylenol. With Tylenol, all you get is fast, effective relief without caffeine. And you should know that hospitals use Tylenol nearly 5 times more than all other pain relievers combined. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most people coast to coast? Who did you think?
Thursday, the inside story on master terrorist Carlos the Jackal, how he's eluded capture for years and his links with Saddam Hussein. Watch Prime Time Thursday.
There are the numbers on that touchdown march. In the first half, Iowa had a total of 80 yards. They just picked up 80 more in that possession.
And they really got a lucky break when that pass from Titley to Falloon should have been intercepted, was actually caught for a 53-yard gain.
Skillett kicks it, rolls it along the ground. Well, they ought to be able to pin him back there pretty well, but Tommy Smith, even though he got a very late start, is able to get it back across the 20 and through the 23.
Looks like Tommy Smith is going to be returning all of those kickoffs as they're really trying to kick the ball away from Bryant.
This telecast of the 77th Rose Bowl, incidentally, is being seen in 28 different nations around the world, including the Middle East. And we hope you're enjoying it. On first down, the Huskies go to work with Mark Brunell at quarterback. Throw it a little bit underneath to Darius Turner, the fullback. And Melvin Foster grabs him by the hind leg and takes him down at the 27-yard line. Now, if the Iowa defensive people can hold them down here, we might have a little excitement in front of us.
What Washington did in the first half, they scored on their first possession with a field goal, then they lost yardage, scored on their fourth possession, and the last 2 possessions of the half, they scored touchdowns.
Second down and 6. This is Greg Lewis. That'll be a first down at the 34 before John Derby could fight his way through the traffic and make the tackle for the Hawkeyes.
Run good for the first down.
First and 10 for the Huskies at the 34.
Gives it to that lone back. Again, it's Lewis. Again, we should tell you, the man's exceptional. He had 9 games over 100 yards this year. And then hurt his knee against UCLA.
Washington's offensive leaders in the first half. Brunel throwing the ball wasn't bad. One touchdown. Lewis ran for 90 yards. And Pierce caught 3.
Lewis, with that last carry, has now gone past 100. On 14 carries, he's got 102 yards. Look at the protection that Brunel had. He's got all day. And he draws a picture for Aaron Pierce and then hits him right between the 8 and the 4.
Another Husky first down.
Number 84, top of your screen, delay blocks because it's a play-action fake away. The quarterback was actually looking downfield, and Pierce was the outlet and gets a few yards on the play. But Pierce was the man that beat out Kilpack, the starting tight end of a couple of years ago. Kilpack is the backup.
First down Huskies at their own 49. They lead 33-14. And the Iowa Hawkeyes trying to pin them down. Give it back to their offense because the Iowa offense took the opening kickoff of the second half and moved it 80 yards for a touchdown.
Well, and the Hawkeyes have the momentum, and if they're to continue to have it, the defense has to stop them. They can give up some yardage, but force them to kick the ball away at worst and maybe get a turnover to keep the momentum with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Dino Bryant is in the backfield now as Lewis leaves. Brunel pumped it and then pulled it back.
Well, that's just good defense, Keith, because when he pumps it like that, everybody kind of turns away, and he took it down and tried to run, and he could not get outside. Good containment by Iowa.
Leroy Smith, number 8, very much involved in it. Defensively for the Hawkeyes. Third down and 8 for Washington. Well, they got it. Back on the 46. And the Huskers will have to punt it. Moses Santos, Rod Davis, and Jeff Nelson.
I think, too, you're seeing an Iowa team coming out here fired up. I think they were a little embarrassed by the way they played the first half. And they're coming out here to gain some respect, if not, try to win this football game.
4th and 13.
Hayden doesn't spend a whole lot of time on the headsets. Nelson's hurt on the play. If he has to leave, that'll bring in Ron Gator, number 96. That is the position that Nelson's playing, normally occupied by the all-conference performer,
Jeff Nelson,
Jim Johnson.
the injured Iowa player.
Nelson's only a sophomore.
The Iowa trainer, Ed Crawley, to the right side there, taking it off the field. It could have been just a stinger or a pinched nerve, and hopefully he'll be back in the ball game.
Ed was what? One-year roommate or something at Purdue?
Yeah, he was. He was on actually he was on the Purdue team that was here and played in the Rose Bowl. He was my fraternity brother and good friend.
Antilla is the deep man as Wiles, number 27, waits for the snap, gets a good one, and gets his kick away. Won't turn over for him, and backs up a little bit, and kicks out of bounds right about the 29-yard line.
Who thinks about their lawn in January? People who want great values at Sears preseason lawn and garden sale.
Working off-season with their suppliers means Sears can bring you great values, like this 12-horsepower lawn tractor with 5 speeds and 38-inch mower deck. What a great price for Craftsman quality.
And there's this 5-horsepower Craftsman 2 power-propelled lawnmower at a great closeout price. Both have a 2-year warranty. And there's much more, only at Sears now.
The evolution of the minivan is now complete.
Now get cashback savings with Plymouth's Golden Advantage.
Saturday,
The whole world is going to hell, Teaspoon.
Cody joins the Vigilantes.
How's it feel to be one of us?
Feels good.
The Young Riders. Then, get a lift from some New Year's spirits with Bill Murray.
He slimed me.
Dan Aykroyd and Sigourney Weaver. Ghostbusters, Saturday.
The high-price monopoly on the only drug proven to fight AIDS, held by a company that didn't even invent it. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight this week.
After a 25-yard punt by Channing Wild, the Iowa Hawkeyes own the football first down at their own 29-yard line. They trail in the ball game by 19 points. So obviously one would say that this is a relatively important possession.
They came into the game averaging 36 points a game, but Washington only gives up 14 a game average, so they're saying the quota's up, no more.
The Husky faithful getting into the ball game here, as you can hear in the background. Hand it to big Nicholas Bell. And from the 29 to about the 32, 3-yard pickup. Bell has been quiet, relatively so, since early in the second quarter. The Blimp Columbia bringing you these stunning pictures on a gloriously pretty day. Columbia is out of Carson, California, with Captain John Creighton. John lives down in Torrance. And this year, 1991, is the 66th consecutive year Goodyear Blimps have flown over major sports events. Little pitch back on a flea flicker to Matt Rogers. His pass is intercepted by Charles Mincy. He threw it at 4 purple shirts. Briscoe started it. Mincy finished it for Washington.
Another gimmick play by Hayden Fry, and sometimes your tricks, when you try them, they don't work. He wants to get something going with his players. His players like the trick plays and the gimmicks. The man downfield is not open. He throws it up in the air. The worst thing you can do. Fraley doesn't get it, but Mincy does. Sometimes you try to make things happen too much when there's nothing there, and you just have to throw it in the ground or take the sack.
Mincy's first interception today. He ran it for a touchdown. From the 49, Brunell looked like he wanted to pump it deep, but he couldn't work it out. And then he drops it off to Darius Turner, and that results in very little as Moses Santos, the defensive end, read their intent and took care of things. No gain, second down and 10 coming up.
You know, Keith, Matt Rogers has had a great year, much improved over last year. And I think one of his problems last year, talking with Hayden, was he tried to make something out of every play, and sometimes there's nothing there. That last play is a great example of it. You just can't make big plays all the time.
Little trap up the middle, opens the door for Greg Lewis. And a first down at the Iowa 40-yard line. Here's Jack.
Keith, you know, you talked at the beginning of the telecast about the Middle East situation and Operation Desert Shield. Well, the entire Iowa Hawkeye team have added this American flag to each of their helmets to let all of the armed services over there in Saudi Arabia know that they're with him. It's especially important to one player, the offensive center, number 60 on the Iowa Hawkeyes, Mike Devlin. You see his brother Tim is in Saudi Arabia right now watching this game on American Forces television.
We hope. We hope. Couple of yards for Lewis this time. He's already well past 100. Gain down near the 38 as Derby and Santos make the stop. 117 yards now on 17 carries for Greg Lewis.
2 straight years he's been over 1,000 yards. A couple of All-American teams. As you mentioned earlier, won the award for the best running back in the country.
Got it again. Penalty flag.
Greg Lewis carries to the 25. There's a penalty on the play. Ron Gator made the stop for Iowa.
Against the Huskies, that's worth 10. Sunday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific, ABC Sports presents Matt Biondi, Janet Evans, and Wendy Leon Williams as they compete among the world's best in the World Swimming and Diving Championships. That'll be down in Australia. Then at 3 Eastern, 2 Central and Pacific, PGA and Senior Tour's finest will tee it up in the Infinity Tournament of Champions. Live coverage begins Sunday here on ABC Sports.
Repeat, second down.
Ball comes back to the 49 of Iowa. And the Louisville Cardinal beaten up on the Crimson Tide.
I think Howard Schnellenberger really motivated his crowd to say, hey, this is a chance to make a statement to the country.
Washington.
Second down and 19 now as Brunel steps back. He's got Lewis lurking over here on the sidelines, but instead it goes down the middle to Mark Jones, and the pass is not good.
That's just a poor throw by Brunel, and he knew it as you saw that shot of him throwing his hands down. He's number 2 behind Lewis on this team in rushing. He came in with 444 yards of rushing offense.
Let me ask you a question. You are a gentleman of considerable accomplishments at quarterback in all levels of this game. How do you teach touch?
Let's get to that in a minute.
Oh, that's a great catch. Orlando McKay right in front of Merton Hanks. And I want to tell you something. You catch a ball like that in the grasp of Merton Hanks, and you have made a good play.
Well, he shows this arm strength in getting this ball to McKay, too. You ask me how you teach touch. It's much easier to teach touch to somebody that doesn't have a cannon to somebody that has a strong arm. Top of your screen, number 4, curls in between the linebackers. And in front of Hanks. That's a good catch.
Yep, certainly is. But I would say that may be the one thing that, one of the 2 things that Brunel needs to work on.
Well, he's young. Most young kids don't have touch.
They had 2 guys going, didn't they? Brunel keeps the ball, and he goes outside and goes out of bounds at the 26. That was close. As they came off the snap of Ed Cunningham, I thought you had somebody that might have beaten the snap. I guess not. First down for the Huskies.
First down, Huskies.
Washington 3 out of 3 on the 4th down tries now in this ball game. But each of them have come at a time when there wasn't all that much risk involved, except for the first one. It was on the first one. Brunel back on first down. He's got a man down the middle. Didn't see him. And he gets belted down at the 23. He had Mario Bailey going right down the middle of the field and wide open and never saw it.
It was a good tackle by Smith, Leroy Smith, the outside linebacker for Iowa.
Mario's going to come back and sidle up to him and say, him.
There's a look at Smith. He was a running back in high school. In fact, he was a New Jersey state champion in the 400, in the quarter mile. He's playing an outside linebacker for Iowa, and he is one of the Iowa players that does have some speed.
Lewis.
Greg Lewis, the ball carrier. On the 20-yard line.
Melvin Foster and Matt Rulin. Two fifth-year seniors who are closing out their careers at the University of Iowa. Rulin out of Hilbert, Wisconsin, and Melvin Foster from Houston, Texas. Third, about 3.5. Brunell wants to run it. Does. Has a first down. Has a touchdown. When you see the replay, have a look at the block by number 31, Darius Turner.
This young man is only going to get better and better. He has tremendous running skills, but he's going to get much improved in his passing skills. You talk to coordinators, defensive coordinators, they are impressed, first of all, by Brunell's running ability and the speed in which he has to get downfield and make things happen.
And they'll go for two. And Lewis won't get it. And at 3:27 to play in the third quarter, Washington back to a 25-point lead at 39-14.
The Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
The Chrysler, Fifth Avenue.
It's got a driver's side airbag, air conditioning, a powerful engine, available wire wheel covers, room for 6, dual electric mirrors.
As you can see, these two cars offer the same kind of luxury. More or less. Chrysler Fifth Avenue.
Now get cashback savings with Chrysler's Golden Advantage.
Times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
Saturday, the road to Super Bowl 25 begins with an NFC wildcard playoff. The Washington Redskins make their first trip to the postseason since they won it all in Super Bowl 22. They face their division rivals, Randall Cunningham and the hard-hitting Philadelphia Eagles. Then the AFC wildcard playoff follows. Christian Okoye powers the Kansas City Chiefs into Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. The postseason party kicks off with a doubleheader Saturday on ABC Sports.
He's on the phone explaining to the folks upstairs how come it took him so long to get that done.
He led the team in scoring this year. That's not usually done by a quarterback.
Number 3, David Hughes, and number 32, Mike Saunders.
Also. They got some good young ones in this conference, in the Pac-10. I mean, really good, big guys.
Well, not only can he run so well, but he's only going to get better throwing it, too. He throws it pretty well right now.
Channing Wiles kicks it off and kicks it out of bounds. So you'll have to do it again 5 yards farther back.
Kick went out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Here's Jack.
Key to 1960 and 1961. Believe it or not, this man captured the Most Valuable Player award and is, to my knowledge, the only player to win back-to-back MVPs. Bob Schlereth, great quarterback for the Washington Huskies. Put on a few pounds since then, Bob.
Well, I have to play tackle nowadays if I got out there, but it's a little too fast for me and too rough, I think.
How much has the game changed since you played quarterback? Compare yourself to this guy, Mark Bruin, because he's just unbelievable today.
Well, he's got great quickness. He's a great athlete. We played both ways, so it's kind of hard to compare, but I was never as quick or as big or could throw the ball as cute as he would, but I could throw a spiral every once in a while and complete him when we needed to, and move the ball, and that was the important thing. But I was probably a stronger defensive player, and then I also punted, so he got a little bit of everything out of me. And nowadays he gets to spend all the time on offense, and I wouldn't like to be playing nowadays, however, this quick.
I think he spends a lot of time at the table too, Keith.
Oh, he's a good guy. I'll tell you, he was a heck of a player. He was a safety man. He was a punter. And you were talking about the size. That was Dana Hughes returning that kickoff. Talking about the size of people earlier. I remember some of those guys. Ray Jackson was a fullback at about 180 pounds, and Ray'd go in and play the middle guard on goal line defense. Norm Dix is a 178, 180-pound middle linebacker.
Well, that's why it's so difficult when people ask you to compare teams of this era with teams of the other era. I mean, it just you're comparing apples and oranges.
That's right. Matt Rogers throws underneath, looking to set a screen for Tony Stewart. And it's a half a dozen yards, maybe. I'll tell you another thing about the way the game changed when they became so specialized. There were some coaches who could coach that one platoon football very successfully and not so successfully with the two platoon stuff. A lot of instances of that.
You got some of those guys in mind in case I want to start up a new team? You coach both ways very well? Probably guys who could identify with the smaller groups, huh?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Sure would save a lot of money if they went back to one platoon football. For sure. That pass thrown to Lou Montgomery, the sophomore from Waterloo. But they're still well short of their first down. Looking at third and about 4. The Sugar Bowl, USF&G Sugar Bowl out in New Orleans coming up. Virginia, the Cavaliers, with uncommon success this year. And you talk about speed. Johnny Majors turns those Tennessee Volunteers loose. You have to look quicker, they're gone. And that bunch, that is really a bunch that can run.
That dome will be all orange inside.
Oh, you got that right. They love their ball, and they go with them. Rogers getting some heat. His pass is away, and incomplete by the hand of Eric Briscoe, 28, right there.
Briscoe almost got out underneath that route and made another interception. He has. Here, take a look at it. You're not going to see Briscoe coming to the left of your screen. Mincy is number 1. Dana Hughes is waiting for the ball, and the ball is just tipped right there by Briscoe, number 28.
Well, they move around. Last time they did this, Washington blocked it. But he gets it out of there this time. Bino Bryant from the 28. Penalty flag. Probably got a clip or an illegal block at least back upfield. 39-yard punt. Clip.
Aren't many weaknesses on this Washington team. Their special teams aren't much below their defense and their offense. Bino Bryant has returned 3 punts for touchdowns this year. He's ranked 2nd in the nation in punt returns. I can remember talking to Don James about 3 or 4 years ago, and he said, we just don't have enough speed. We got to go out and recruit speed. We're going to recruit track players and get them to play football.
Return, 15 yards in the spot of the foul. First down this way.
Well, they get a lot of that speed out of the Golden State. There are 34 Californians on the Washington roster. But part of that comes from the population factor. A large part of it comes from that. And weather, the Sun Belt, you know, Sun Belt produces quick people.
Bino Bryant and Orlando McKay, the 2 offensive players, are a part of the Pac-10 champion 400-meter track team. Dana Hall also runs on the track team, so they've got some track players on the football team.
Matt Jones carries. When you look around at the Washington line, if you're told they'll get 17 starters back, Lincoln Kennedy, I haven't called his name. I see that big number 75. I mean, it's like walking house. He's 6'7", 315 pounds. He's a sophomore. He's from San Pablo. You don't think he isn't going to be a stalwart?
He only played about half the time because of the injury to Mala Mala, but he made the second team all Pac-10 team. That's how much respect the coaches in the league had for this man. He'll be back.
Brunell throws. Kilpack catches. First down, Huskies, 35-yard line. Melvin Foster was out there looking Brunell right in the eye, and he turned him upside down. Kilpack was hit hard just as the ball got there, but play worked. But you look down along, Cunningham is a junior. They lose Haakoa. Jeff, the tackle, is a senior. Schulberg is a senior. Pierce is a junior. Kilpack is a senior. But then look, Mala Mala's only a junior. Caligus is a freshman. Neville is a freshman. I mean, they're young. This is Lewis. And he's got 9 yards on the carry. 39-14 ball game as we run out of time here in the third quarter with the Washington Huskies in control. Look at that good-looking fella. Huh.
Brings up second and 1.
We'll be back with more action from the 77th Rose Bowl game after this message and the word from our ABC station.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth.
For me, it's the perfect truck.
Jim Oddballs had a Ford Ranger.
It will handle a load. It will get up and move.
Brian Thompson came home from Toyota.
I like the Dodge Dakota the best.
The mid-size Dakota, now available with V8 power for less money than a 4-liter V6 Ford Ranger.
There's no substitute for cubic inches.
Welcome home, America. Come see what we're made of.
I bought the Dodge. Just feels like quality.
Get total savings up to $3,400 on Dodge Dakota.
Sunday, he was a lover and a gangster.
He's not your garden variety punk. He's poison.
The man who lived above the law.
The only thing that matters is have some fun.
Twin Peaks Sherilyn Fenn stars with Mark Harmon as Dillinger. A world premiere movie Sunday.
It's McDonald's New Year's celebration. Would you believe a double cheeseburger for only 99 cents? It's the burger gig that lasts a lot longer than any New Year's Eve party, featuring McDonald's double cheeseburgers for only 99 cents. So don't ring in the new, check out some old-fashioned value. It's Mickey D's New Year's celebration. Get a double cheeseburger for only 99 cents. But you better boogie before this deal becomes old legs on. Buy a double cheeseburger for only 99 cents until January 13th. You're gonna love the change at McDonald's.
Today, you have all kinds of places to buy appliances or electronics in Detroit. But if you ever need to get one serviced, how many of those places can you trust to be around tomorrow to help? The place that's been here longer than anyone is one sure place you can count on to be here whenever you need us. We're Sears Brand Central. The brands you want at the store you trust. Today, tomorrow, whenever.
Mark Harmon gives a riveting performance in Dillinger, next ET.
We're headed for the final quarter now. Washington 39, Iowa 14. It's been an absolute day of frustration for the Hawkeyes. Washington foot speed has been the huge difference. Really quick team. The Huskies have the ball. Second down and 1.5. And from the 44, it is Matt Jones for the first down up near the 49. During the time the Iowa Hawkeyes have been here, they trained at Long Beach State. The Man on the left, George Allen, the football coach who took a Long Beach program that was down and went 6-5 with it this year. He was at every practice session and forever asking Hayden Fry stories. George having come back from a legendary career in the NFL to coach at the college level. He died yesterday. And folks, I want to tell you something. We, the world, lost a real gamer when George left us. He was my friend, and I was proud to be his friend. The pass is intercepted by Merton Hanks for Iowa. And so now the Hawkeyes will turn it and try to go the other way.
Talking about George Allen, I played against him in Super Bowl out here in Los Angeles, and he was always prepared, always had his players ready to play. Just a real inspirational type of coach, and it was fun knowing George and playing against him. Physical fitness buff, and we'll all miss him.
I remember when he was back in Washington, he was walking around picking up trash. I'll finish the story in a minute as the Hawkeyes now go from just short of their own 45-yard line. Matt Rogers on a little delay, hands it off to Tony Stewart, and Tony can't get it going, and there will be a loss on the play. But they couldn't believe that the head coach of the Washington Redskins was out picking up trash. And he said neatness. Yeah. Neatness is part of discipline. Yeah. You can't have discipline if you don't have neatness. But that was the way George was cut. And I'm sure going to miss it. "14 minutes exactly. Stewart in losing those 2 yards. You talk about how fickle things are in life. Stewart losing 2 yards just removed himself as Iowa's all-time rusher. And Rogers rolls it out, lets it go. He's got Saunders. Good. At the 25-yard line. First down, Hawkeyes. Walter Bailey was defending for the Huskies, but Saunders, the bigger man, turned back into the ball.
Here's Saunders here. Now look, take a look. All 11 defensive men are at the line of scrimmage. Saunders just going to get downfield and throw his hand up and say, hey, play action fake, holds everybody. I've got my man beat. Rogers sees him a little bit late. If he would have thrown the ball out in front of him, could have been 6, but he actually had to wait for it, and they get a gain substantial.
And a first down. Knocking at the 25. Rogers pumps it, takes off up the middle, and gets down to about the 21. That's close to a 5-yard pickup. At 4.5. Dave Hoffman, the inside linebacker. He led the team in tackles this year. He's only a sophomore from San Jose.
You know, Keith, the scary thing about this is their #1 linebacker from last year, James Clifford, who led the team in tackles last year, was hurt before the season and has missed the entire season. He'll be back next year ready to play. Both Fraley and Hoffman, the 2 inside linebackers who played all year and started this game, will be back. That team next
so
year.
Will Jones, and so will Collins. You know,
17 of them are coming back next year. This team is going to be there again.
Matt Rogers trying to run an option for a first down will be taken down at the 17.
Made the stop on Matt Rogers.
They've got to go just inside the 16 for their first down. That's about as pretty a picture as we have available as the sun sinks on toward Hawaii and Polynesia and points west.
See, it's awful nice out here, isn't it?
Here now. Here now. Yeah.
Shush. You got any homes in your neighborhood?
Hush, 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 hush. Third down, 1.5 yards. Into the end zone. Batted down by the Huskies and almost picked off by Shane Pakoa, who is the sophomore in the Pakoa family. They live in Marysville, Washington. I'm sure you wonder what in the world is a Samoan name doing in Marysville, Washington. They're living there. That's what they're doing.
Pakoa has a brother, as you mentioned.
Big tackle.
Yeah, offensive tackle.
Good players, both of them. Marysville produced another outstanding athlete, a lady. Ann Quast. Now Ann Quast Sanders. Very successful in amateur golf. Contact along the front. Mike Devlin took offense to the encroachment by the Husky defender.
Of course, all the defensive linemen are going to point to the offense, whether they are guilty or not.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. Repeat 4th down.
Hawkeyes are not happy with that. But then if I were in their fix at 39-14 and had been pummeled around like they have today, I don't reckon I'd be too happy either, would you?
No, I wouldn't. You know, we talked about Washington having all these guys back. Hayden Fry is going to have 16 of his starters back for his team in 1991. So he's got a lot of underclassmen on this ball club also.
Timeout called here by Iowa. They were looking for some kind of particular play. They didn't have it in mind. They are at 4th and 7, and so they spin the timeout.
If you buy this new Oldsmobile and have a burning desire to haul 5,000 pounds through the desert in the middle of summer, go ahead. That's how we tested it.
This is the new generation of Olds.
To celebrate 30 years of 30-minute delivery, Domino's Pizza delivers the Big 3-0. Order a large pizza at regular price and get a medium with your favorite topping for just 30 cents more. A great deal like this won't last forever, so call now and ask for the Big 3-0.
I hate my daughter's dance class. Well, not the dance class, the waiting area. Flat vinyl benches, old magazines. So I get the car washed instead. Or I bring it here to Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus. My GM dealership guarantees the complete lube, oil, and filter. Well, in 29 minutes or less, or the next one's free. Of course, it's never actually taken that long. But hey, as long as they're done before dance class, I'm a happy camper.
Your GM dealer's serious about putting service back in the service department, so try Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus for a change.
Back in 1966, Oldsmobile brought on a revolution with front-wheel drive. Today, the evolution of Smart Track, the combination of all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes, will again take the world by storm.
This is the new generation of Olds.
The Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. It'll be sold out and it will be rocking tonight. The USF&G Sugar Bowl coming up right after the Rose Bowl. Two very highly explosive offensive teams, Virginia and Tennessee. Sean Moore, the All-American quarterback for Virginia, will open tonight. All right, let's go back out to Keith Jackson and the Rose Bowl.
Rolling right, Mike Saunders reels it in. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. And so Iowa on 4th down and 7 comes up with a play to keep their hopes alive, though they go with dim at 11.5 minutes to go in the game. Hayden Fry called the plays. Don't ever doubt it. Everything that happens out there, he's got a hand in. Fumble. And Stewart losing the ball as he was tackled, follows it and keeps it.
Stewart recovered his own fumble.
Talking about Hayden calling the plays, he was a quarterback, we mentioned it earlier, at Baylor. And he has done very well with quarterbacks and sending them on from the University of Iowa into the pros.
What, 6 of the last 8 years?
6 of the last 8 years,
yeah.
An Iowa quarterback has been all Big Ten.
Second down and 10.
Second off, you got all the defensive players up there. You see all 11 of them.
Lobs it up. No. Saunders, he tried to put it up in the air for Saunders to run under the ball. But Walter Bailey would have none of it, and another sophomore from Portland, Oregon, blocked him off, and he simply could not run through it.
Well, the pressure defense of Washington is causing some miscommunications between the wide receivers and Rogers. That time, Rogers threw the ball downfield, and the receiver was breaking on a short out. If you remember early in the ball game, it was just the opposite when Mincy had picked it off and took it in for a score.
At times, you know, it looks like the Washington defensive people, too, are so well schooled in what Iowa's trying to do.
That's what's so amazing, because they're just young kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you think this is a pro defense as well organized as they are.
They're making them go in opposite directions.
They disguise well, and they intimidate.
Yeah, a lot of Husky faithful down in that end of the Rose Bowl.
Delay of game on the offense.
And Matt Rogers was trying to beg for a little time, you know, because he was arguing he couldn't hear. And
yeah, but the referee standing right behind him, he saw that clock running down to 0 also. Hayden thinks maybe his glasses are dirty. Maybe he's not seeing this right or something.
Incidentally, the story on the dark glasses, those are prescription glasses. He has to wear them because he got caught down in a recruiting trip in southern New Mexico one time, got caught in a blizzard and had to drive down the road with his head out the window, and he snow burned. And it's a very gentle, tender thing. He has to protect himself. Matt Rogers back. Heat coming. Got some room, takes off. And then is a wallop by Brett Collins. Brett Collins staying at home, takes the Iowa quarterback out with some authority.
Talk about glasses and visors. Matt Rogers wore that visor most of the season, took it off sometimes, wore it the first half of this ball game, and is a little bit superstitious like his head coach, and took it off one time during the season and one in the second half, and it worked out well, so let him try it again.
Hartlieb is in. They got set up for a field goal here. I don't know about this. Look out.
Lots of tricks. You got that.
That's intercepted in the end zone by Chico Fraley, who tries to run it out. I'm kind of standing here with my mouth open. I want to know the truth. They sent the field goal team in. Jim Hartlieb is the quarterback, number 12. He comes running off the field, waving his arms like he's not supposed to be out there. What do you want me to do? They snap it back to Skillett, the punter, or the kicker, place kicker. And he promptly drops it.
I think that's all part of the ploy, all part of the trick.
Dropping it ain't.
Well, no, the quarterback running off the field, but you're right. Not many of Hayden's tricks have worked today.
That's right.
To say the least.
That one play where the tight end threw the ball. And they got the right bounce.
Yeah, they got the right bounce on that one is right. But I'm thinking that when you talk to Hayden after the ball game about this Rose Bowl, he'll say that not many things went his way today.
That's right. Billy Joe Hobart is in there at quarterback, and here's Vino Bryant popping out of there. Oh, my goodness. He is within a breath of going all the way from the 4-yard line. Scott Plate finally got enough of him to bring him down.
You don't see much of Vino Bryant because he is the backup to Greg Lewis, the All-American. Next year, you'll see more of Vino Bryant. 13 Washington Huskies made the Pac-10 team, and Vino Bryant made it as a punt returner.
That's a 38-yard pickup for Bryant. And a first down, Huskies out at the 42. Inside, Matt Jones. And a little pop as the Hawkeyes jump in. Derby in particular. Big John laying a hat on him. Gain is 1 yard, second down 9. What I was going to say, there'll be somebody on the Washington defensive side of the ball, the special teams coach probably, who will inform Chico Fraley that there was no do not intercept in the end zone when you're leading 39-14. That hit that down. That's Bryant carrying. And a couple of yards. I would imagine Chico is thinking, interception. I need one of those. I need something to brag about.
First one of the year.
First one of the year. I don't blame him. I've done it too.
Sure.
Dino got up a little gingerly that time. Time remaining in the ball game is now 8:50. They're talking offense.
Nobody expected the Hawkeyes to be anywhere near Pasadena on January 1, 1991 before the season. They weren't picked any better than 5th in any of the preseason polls.
Herbert gets his pass off. Incomplete. Pass intended for Mark Jones. We'll have the USF&G Sugar Bowl, Tennessee and Virginia, just as soon as we finish here in Pasadena. Penalty against the Huskies.
On the other hand, the Washington Huskies were expected to be at the top or near the top of the Pac-10. And, you know, were it not for that upset at home, the second last game of the year by UCLA, this team would be very much in the national championship hunt right here today.
Oh, I think they'd come into this ball game ranked #1 if they hadn't lost to UCLA.
Yeah. You know, we did that ball game, and they were handing out roses before the ball game, and all week in the paper it was don't tear down the goalpost after the game. I think the players got a little bit misdirected before that ball game. UCLA certainly played very well.
Yeah,
this team looks awfully good.
Woods came in pretty well beat up, too. On 4th down, they punted out of there. Wiles kicking it down to the 13-yard line for Antilla. And he goes down at the 14, and there the Hawkeyes will have it with 8:19 to play.
I could take a taxi.
No, don't worry, Dad. I'll drive you.
Total safety? I suppose we could all stay home or ride around in M1 tanks. But we're working on practical solutions.
Honey, we're never going to make it.
Dad, we'll make it.
Anti-lock brakes. Standard equipment on more and more of our cars. Rain or snow, you can come to a nice clean stop.
You build someone a safer car, you get yourself a good night's sleep.
Well, we made it.
Do it all the time.
Question. How can Americans save 4.2 million gallons of gasoline a day? By properly inflating your tires. Let's put our energy into saving it.
Okay, what's new with the new generation of Oldsmobile? Still wondering?
This is the new generation of Olds.
Law of this heart should be criminal.
No!
I haven't even slept together yet.
You've had 6 weeks to get a performance out of your client.
Hey, would I lie to you?
Deciding who shall live and who shall die isn't easy.
I never really appreciated pool as a spectator sport.
Appreciate this.
Objection.
You are so gorgeous.
This is probably the biggest mistake of my life.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the courtroom.
Are you sure about this?
Equal Justice returns with all new cases Wednesday, January 9th.
An artful view of the Rose Bowl from our director, Larry Kemp. Here's what's happened during the course of this ball game. The Huskies really took command in the second, had an explosion of points in that second quarter and really put it away right then and there. Defense, 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 and speed. On 1st down, pitches to Bell, reverse back to Danon Hughes. Hughes throws it, got a man wide open, Nick Bell. Bell's down the sidelines, he's got one to beat. And can't do it. Shane Paracoa finally ran him down all the way down at the 20-yard line of Washington. 66 yards on the play.
Bell is here. He's going to hand the ball to Hughes coming back, and then Bell is going to continue down the sideline. Tossed to the tailback, handed back to the flanker, and then everybody forgets about the man except Paracoa at the bottom of your screen. Bell almost gets it done.
Boy, they're well drilled, aren't they? They really stay home. Yep. They don't leave you any open highways. First down for the Hawkeyes at the 20. This is Stewart. And Stewart regains his posture as Iowa's all-time rushing leader with that carry. Here's Jackaroo.
Keith, any of us that have traveled at one time or another have walked out of a hotel room and left their key, taken it with us. But that's not the case with Coach Don James when they were at the Freedom Bowl during the Holiday Bowl period 1 year ago down in Anaheim. He went down to the desk and he said, I like my hotel suite so much, I want to book it for next year. But I want to book it instead of ending on December 30th, I want it to end on January 2nd because I'm going to the Rose Bowl. He was kind of clairvoyant, wasn't he? I checked, though, down there to see if he'd made the same reservations for 1991. That'll really worry all the Pac-10 and Big Ten coaches.
Did he? Did he make the same reservation?
Believe it or not, yes.
Well, no. I think he should, looking from what this team he's got right here and what he's got coming back.
That's a little bit out of character with John, because he is not given to such things, but I think sure it's part much it's in fun, really.
Yeah, that's right.
But he might very well be here next year. Stewart pounds over the left side, getting behind Devlin and Agutter, and picks up an apparent first down. It'll be first and goal at the 9-yard line for Iowa.
First down, Iowa at the 9-yard line. First and goal, Hawkeyes.
Stewart is the tailback. That's Hughes in motion. Rogers keeps it, turns it, touchdown.
Down inside the 10-yard line. Down the line, Whitaker, number 46, gets a good block on the linebacker. And Roger gets it in for his second touchdown of the day.
And we're at 39-20. And the Hawkeyes will try for two.
Iowa will attempt a 2-point conversion.
Stewart. Nope. Number 23, Walter Bailey, knocks him out of bounds. 6:27 to go in the ball game. It's 39-20 now. The Huskies by 19.
39, Iowa 20.
To help relieve her heartburn, regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt, but his antacid is Tums, and Tums has calcium.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
The reason two Oldsmobiles made the 1991 Consumers Digest Best Buys list is based on the same philosophy Oldsmobiles are built by. Exceptional value.
This is the new generation of Olds.
Saturday, the road to Super Bowl 25 begins with an NFC wildcard playoff. The Washington Redskins make their first trip to the postseason since they won it all in Super Bowl 22. They face their division rivals, Randall Cunningham and the hard-hitting Philadelphia Eagles. Then the AFC wildcard playoff follows. Christian Okoye powers the Kansas City Chiefs into Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. The postseason party kicks off with a doubleheader Saturday on ABC Sports.
There's Glenn Hampton sitting there manning the camera. The captain is John Creighton. That's the Columbia down in Carlson. Where'd you guys get the flowers? They swooped in low and fetched a bouquet off one of the floats. That's what they did. Goodyear met Columbia, hovering off in the distance there, as you can see, and coming back inside the Rose Bowl, a 39-20 lead for the Washington Huskies over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Do we have an onside kick coming? Huskies think so. They've got receivers and backs and defenders up there. There's your high bounce. Did it go 10? It did. It did. The Iowa man leaned over and caught it as he fell out of bounds.
Unbelievable. It took a strange hop, and just at the very end, before it went out of bounds, as best I hey, I need a couple more yards before I can recover.
Greg Brown is the man. Watch number 29.
Now, Iowa is very aware they don't touch it yet. It's got to cross that line where 29 is. Now, when it does, and before it goes out of bounds, and keeping his feet in bounds, what a great play.
I don't know why the receiving team stand around and wait for the ball to go 10 yards. They don't have to.
Iowa at their
Go
own
get
46.
the confounded thing.
That's exactly right. If they see a nice, juicy bounce, they can go up there and grab it.
First down from the 46. Matt Rogers with good protection. Now the heat comes and he throws it away rather than take the sack. Crowd today was 101,273. And a whole lot of them are still in the house.
Well, a whole lot of them don't get down here very often, or out here, as the case might be. It's interesting, you know, Iowa always brings a bunch of fans. The last game of the season for Iowa, they went up to Minnesota to play at Minnesota inside in the dome. And the home team, the Minnesota Gophers, had to ask for quiet a couple of times with their offensive quarterback because the Iowa fans, the visiting team fans, were making too much noise.
This is Lou Montgomery with a pretty good run. But then he is dehorned by Dana Hall.
That's a pretty good hit by Dana Hall.
Montgomery, the ball carrier. Dana Hall put the hit on him.
Watch this hit.
This is a track guy. This is a hurdler. Dana Hall is a hurdler. And he also plays a little football, huh?
Yeah, but he's kind of large for a hurdler.
Yeah, he is. 6'3", 202. Runs the 40 and 4.4. Those are the kind of football players you like to have.
Third down and 3 for Iowa. Rogers on an option. Has his first down. Get it out of bounds, Matthew. And he does. At the 35.
Well, that play there has not been stopped by the Huskies all day. Rogers has gained a lot of yardage on that play alone.
First down for Iowa.
I think what you're seeing in Fry and these Hawkeyes is no quit. They're not giving up. They're not even looking at the scoreboard. All they know is they need to score and score often.
First down at the Husky 35. Pass is good to Nick Bell. Bell's got a first down. Bell's still pumping along. And he reaches the 20.
And he got out of bounds to stop the clock, I believe.
Briscoe and Chico Fraley.
I'll tell you what, his stock has soared this year as a potential professional player.
Well, you know, there was a poll we had during the season showing the top players, the collegiate players at each position. And Nick Bell was the top running back on the poll that we had of college scouts.
5:15 to go in the ball game. First down at the Washington 20. This is Bell again. Got a hold. Good score. Touchdown, Hawkeyes.
Linemen to get their blocks.
And that's the first time all night, Bob, that the Washington people in the secondary were in the wrong place.
Yeah, well, I think the faking in the backfield crossed them up a little bit.
I don't know. This critter may still be breathing, you know.
Well, if they get another onside kick, maybe.
Going for 2. That won't work. Everybody was over there in a very tight little corner. There's just simply no room. And at 5:07 to go in the game, 39-26 now, only a 13-point lead for Washington.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most places across the country? Who did you think?
My grandfather loves the unknown. I want a sure thing. I drive a new kind of Oldsmobile, the all-new Bravada, perfect for this jungle because it's got Smart Trap, a new anti-lock braking and all-wheel drive system that automatically sends power to the wheel that needs it. So I'm ready for the unexpected, whether I'm traveling across the river and into the trees,
This is the new generation.
Or just visiting your old man in the sea.
Bravada, engineered for the unexpected.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to more businesses than anyone else in the business? Who did you think?
Been a big day for number 43. 84, not too bad either. Michael Tipley there with a headset.
Nick Bell can also catch the ball. 2 years ago, he caught 13 passes in a game against Indiana. That's a Hawkeye record. He's caught 3 this game for 85 yards.
39-26, and Washington is expecting another onside kick. Go back to what we said a while ago. The kicking team must allow the ball to travel 10 yards before they can recover it. The receiving team can go get it anytime after it's kicked. Anywhere. Pump it up this time. Look out. You can call a fair catch. Darius Turner called fair catch. The Hawkeyes did not give him the required amount of room on a fair catch, and I think that's what your penalty is.
I think your chances are better when you put it on the ground.
Yep.
Anytime you kick a bloop kick like that, if you kick it to somebody up short, they're going to fair catch it.
He's trying to no-man land it back here. Get behind that front line.
Yeah.
5-yard interference on the kicking team. First down this way.
You can fair catch a kickoff. There's his signal.
You're saying he's trying to kick it over his head past the 40-yard line, but one of the deep men, I think that's Bino Bryant maybe, came up, would have caught it.
But that's good. Again, here, again, an example of the kind of coaching these kids get.
Both sides have been coached well.
Yep.
You've seen a lot of Hayden Fry's tricks and gimmicks. Don James is prepared for it.
Mark Brunell, the quarterback now. Bino Bryant with that carry. And he's got about 5 yards in. He's got another penalty flag. Everybody getting a little tired now. And when fatigue gets a hold of your body, your mind can't make it do the things you want it to.
Personal foul, late hit on the defense, automatic first down.
Hey, that's the kind of thing that happens.
Well, here's a look at the top 10. Notre Dame plays Colorado, the number 1 team, later tonight. Georgia Tech won big. Miami wins big over number 3 Texas. Florida State beat Penn State.
From the 32-yard line, Brunell to the corner of the end zone. Bailey, touchdown. Ah, do you do?
Nothing fancy here. Here's Bailey. He's just going to run a streak. But the key thing here are these yard markers. Anytime you get in the 35-yard line, the defensive backs do not expect you to run a streak straight up the field. It's an excellent throw and a good call. Gary Pinkel, offensive coordinator, calling most all of the plays for the Huskies.
And it quieted the flickering anxieties across the land amongst the Husky faithful. Kick is good by Hansen. So the smiles are large on the purple side of the field as the lead goes back to 20 for Washington.
In time, all definitions must be revised. But when it came to redefining luxury, it wasn't a Webster, it was Oldsmobile, the all-new 98. Now you can have anti-lock brakes, fuel-efficient power, computerized suspension, technology found in cars costing thousands more, which by my definition could be the greatest luxury of all. And you can always take a Webster at his word.
This is the new 98, luxury redefined.
Generation of Olds.
Kansas City, New York, Memphis, Tokyo. I've checked them out everywhere.
Legends, giants.
Oh, they always give you your money's worth.
McDonald's Big Burgers, Big Mac, Quarter Pounder with cheese, McDLT.
No question about it.
One of the great power trios of all time. Tasty.
Very tasty.
For my money, they're the biggest hits in the business.
McDonald's, always good food, always good value.
Nobody ever said you weren't supposed to have fun. Not at that age. And the Huskers will kick it off to Iowa. Channing Wild is the kicker. Woo. That's a rough line drive. Mike Saunders handles it. And comes up across the 25, make it the 27-yard line. And while the Iowa offensive people come on the field, I want to say Happy New Year to a couple of our, my goodness, they're guys I've worked with for better than 2 decades. Tom White, videotape editor. Tom's sick. Dale Walsh, who just had some surgery, one of our cameramen. Get well, guys.
Yes, sir.
We miss you, and we love you, and Happy New Year to you.
We miss you, Dale. Get on back here.
Four and a half to go now. Rogers works it inside with Paul Kuyava carrying it. Lou Henson had a basketball player named Kuyava over at Illinois. Big fella. There were days when I tried to pronounce his name, and that's what I called him.
One of the things that Iowa does a little differently, their tight ends always stand up. There he is. That's Titley, number 84, at the end of the line of scrimmage. The innovation Hayden Fry came up with a long time ago.
Matt Rogers sends one flying down the sideline. The pass is good to Mike Saunders. And it'll be a Hawkeye first down.
Matt Rogers' pass complete to Mike Saunders. First down,
Ball coming up near midfield to about the 48-yard line. Stops the clock at 3:53.
You don't see, we talk about Hayden, some of the innovations that Hayden has come up with over the years, a lot of his gimmicks and trick plays. You don't see many other teams with their tight ends standing as Hayden has done with Iowa. Sometimes imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I mean, and you don't see anybody else doing it.
Here's another big play with Kuyava carrying the ball, number 23, the sophomore fullback. And he's got a first down just inside the Washington 40. But keep in mind now that there are several reserve folks on the field, young people being seasoned for the future. One of those out there is number 13, Andy Mason, who is the defensive end. Kind of unusual to see a 13 out there playing defensive end, but he's the fella that started the wall falling early on in the ball game when he blocked the punt up the middle and Dana Hall took it in for the touchdown. Rogers back looking, nothing there. And he winds up with about a yard gain.
There's 13 number there, right there, Mason. He was an outstanding baseball player, Keith. Turned down a bunch of money to come to school at the University of Washington and play football.
Number 3, Jamie Fields, in there, the linebacker. He's a sophomore. in the air. 43, Mark Jones saw that pass coming. Reached up, slapped it away.
Mark is the brother of Matt, the backup fullback, who has caught several passes in this ball game today. Several Jones is on the 2 deep for the Washington Huskies, about 4 or 5. 6. I am corrected.
Yeah, 6.
That's why you'll see a lot of the Joneses with initials or names on the back of their shirts.
Yeah, for Matt, they had to put MT. Down the middle. Saunders makes the catch. First down, Hawkeyes, Washington 12-yard line. That was a good pass by Matt Rogers that time.
There's no quit in that man right there. He's going to know in his own mind that it was never close, this Rose Bowl loss, but at least they're going to come out, score a bunch of points, and make it look a little respectable.
Rogers throws it into the end zone and is incomplete. Why don't they have a trailer coming back over here in this time?
Sometimes they do, but Washington, and they've done that a couple times, but Washington has kept everybody, one of the corners back over here. And it's very tough to roll all the way to one sideline and throw back cross field. You know, you'll get those picked off. But there are design plays like that, but you have to be careful with them. Just to finish my thought on those tight ends of Hayden's standing up, it's great for seeing downfield and getting a good release on the passing game. I think it's a little tough to get your blocks if you're going to get a block on a defensive lineman.
Rogers has got a man coming down the pipe. He's got a touchdown. Saunders. Crossing pattern in front of the goal post, Mark Saunders. Well, Mike got up there in the crowd with the pretty girls. He was visiting. The Vince guy had to come over and drag him out.
Here's Saunders right here. He's just going to go down and run a slant into the middle. Tommy Smith is going to leave the area and create a huge vacuum in the center of the field. The play action fake held Smith. The free safety got him out of there.
Hawkeyes moved 72 yards.
Now you're going to say, why didn't the Hawkeyes play like this in the first half?
Different attitude.
Yeah.
Amongst those folks wearing the purple shirts.
Yeah.
Two-point try. Rogers rolling out. Runs right into a lot of grief. Oh, it's going to work. Ball's caught. Well, if it's a tackle.
I think a defensive man touched it first, which makes it all right.
Yeah, he did. He did, I guess. So, yeah, Ted Bellisher, number 73, big tackle. Took it in there.
Happy New Year, everybody, from Tommy Lasorda. This is how...
Look at those gloves he's got on, too. I'm sure he goes back and says, just call me Hands, boys. Just call me Hands. Now, a defensive back, I think it's Jaime Fields, number 3, right there. He's going to touch the ball, knock it up in the air. Yeah.
Yep.
And then an offensive lineman can catch the ball and take it in. He knows where to go. Can you imagine what he's going to be telling his grandkids or maybe his own kids in about 20 years?
When they call for the fullbacks next spring, he's going to line up, too, I'll bet. 46-34. It is now a 12-point lead for the Huskies. Last time they got a little bit of a threat. They just simply took it out of the field and stuck it in the end zone. You've now got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the ball game. And they again expect an onside kick. I would suggest they'll get it. Ball rolling around. Hawkeyes got a shot at it.
There's no way anybody knows who's got that ball right now until they peel them off.
First, they got to stop the fight.
Look at the official crawling in there to get the ball.
Iowa got it. In the highest scoring Rose Bowl game of all time, the Hawkeyes have recovered their second onside kick. The previous record was 1963 when it was 42-37, USC beating Wisconsin. That was Pete Beathard and Ron Vanderkellen in a ball game that lasted almost 6 hours.
Well, let's erase all those numbers up there and get it down to numbers we can understand. They're 12 points behind, and they have 2 minutes and 18 seconds to play.
And Matt Hilliard won the wrestling contest for possession of the ball for the Hawkeyes. And so they rest at their own 45-yard line.
Can you believe that? 2 onside kicks. If they go down and score.
Oh, me.
Can you imagine what the next one, the excitement the next one would hold?
Rogers lets it go for Bell. Short-armed it and dropped it.
There's no way that Rogers could have thrown this ball any better. Puts it right on the money. Throwing it on Hoffman, the inside linebacker. Hoffman had the coverage. It's a kind of a match that you'd like to have.
Just awkward enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, he made it look a little bit more difficult. He tried to keep running. If he would have tried to catch it and stop and go out of bounds, I think he could have had it.
That's caught. And just short of a first down by Matt Whitaker, a tight end. Going to be about a yard short of the first down. And time called with 1:55 to play in the game.
Celebrating its 75th year, the Pacific 10 Conference is the Conference of Champions. Pac-10 success in football and men's basketball is unparalleled nationally. Yet the Pac-10 may be best known for supporting the nation's strongest overall athletic programs, having captured the most NCAA championships in both men's and women's sports. Southern California, Oregon, California, Washington State, Arizona, Oregon State, UCLA, Arizona State, Washington, and Stanford comprise the Pac-10. The Pac-10 region stretches throughout the glorious West, from Arizona to California, and north to Oregon and Washington. For 75 years, the Pacific 10 Conference has been and commits to being the Conference of Champions.
There's the Herky. Meantime, hey, Sundog, wake up. It's gotten close again. No.
He says, no sweat. My guys will take care of it. Maybe he's got earplugs.
That's terrific, dog. Really something. All dogs go to heaven. Third down and a yard. And they should. And a whistle. Look out here. Look out here. 2 seconds left on the clock.
Offensive line movement.
Yeah, probably.
Handball. Ball start on the offense. Repeat third down.
So they've gone from 3rd and 1 now to 3rd and 6. Hurt yourself.
It doesn't really matter because they were going to go for it on 4th down anyway, and they don't need 6 yards. They need 50 yards. But to maintain possession, they've got to get 6 yards in one of these next 2 plays.
the 41 of Washington, Alan Cross.
Complete for a first down.
There's a lot of kids who haven't played in this ball game but are suddenly making big plays for the Hawkeyes.
I think what you're seeing now is why Iowa won the Big Ten championship and how they beat Michigan State in East Lansing and beat Michigan in Ann Arbor and went to Champaign and beat Illinois.
Brett Cullen. Outside backer, he just had too much speed, and he was in front all the way. And the Hawkeyes have just spent their last timeout. Game time remaining, 1 minute and 26 seconds. USF&G Sugar Bowl follows. So we're not too far from finishing this one. You saw that score a moment ago. Howard Schnellenberger has made his point. The Louisville Cardinals beat the Crimson Tide of Alabama 34-7. Howard Schnellenberger is one of Paul's boys. One of the Bears boys.
He was also at...
That's the Iowa band right there.
Yeah,
what he had.
Howard was with the Dolphins for a while when I was down there, and he knows what he's doing. He's been successful everywhere he's been.
I'd like to congratulate Dennis and Kathy Swanson, who became grandparents. Natalia Catherine, born Sunday, 7 pounds 5 ounces. Mom Susan, Dad Fred, Swain doing just fine. So congratulations to Dennis and Kathy. And certainly to Susan and Fred. And that roll to the right, out of bounds by Eric Briscoe.
Didn't get out of bounds. He needed to get out of bounds.
Yep. Clock is still going. On 3rd down and 10 now for the Hawkeyes. 46-34. Washington leads by 12. Pressure coming, throws, incomplete, stops your clock. Number 48 was all over him. That's Donald Jones, an outside backer. You know, Collins and Jones outside are really quick people.
I think it's interesting to note that when the game gets close again, it reverts back to the style it was at the beginning of the game, and that is Washington's defense is dominating.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the ball game for the Hawkeyes, Nick Bell, who had a big day. And for Washington, Charles Mincy, the defensive back. I'll tell you the rest of the story in a moment. 4th down could be the last play of the game for the Hawkeyes. Pressure coming. He gets his pass away. There's nobody there to catch it except the Husky, Tommy Smith. And Tommy comes back to the 25-yard line, and this one is in the books. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each of the school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for academic achievements and to help them in financial need. Nick Bell and Charles Mincy. Well, the Huskies have this one. Here's your pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure.
His 3rd interception. Rodgers ends up 16 of 33, 3 interceptions and a touchdown pass and 2 rushing touchdowns.
That lady you saw over there on the sidelines, that was Carol James. And nobody's enjoying this moment more than she is. Jay Berry gets a carry in the game. He's a sophomore out of North Glen, Colorado, and now we hit a half a minute. Dave Burnson, our stats, Todd Berry. Our spotter, Keith Jackson, Bob Greasy, and Jack LaRoute. Bob Goodrich, our producer. The executive producer of ABC Sports College Football is Jeffrey Mason. Our director, Larry Cam, our technical director, Gary Larkins, our associate producer, Jimmy Ressler, associate director, David Kiviat. And who stops the clock? Somebody hurt. Eddie Polly. Eddie Polly hurt on the play. Technical operations managers are Joe Alvarado, Al Fong, and Jerry Reuter. Assistant to the producer, Mitch Green. Statistician, Dave Burnson. I told you that. Computer, I'm going to give you 2 punts, Burnson. Computer statistician was Tim Goodman. Graphics assistant, Mike Bird. Our stage manager, Kirsten Anderson. Our sideline coordinator, Dick Schefter. Don't want to see anybody get hurt on the last play of the ball game.
Oh, you hate to see this.
So what do we have? That's it for college football for this season, right? We come back the end of August, the East-West game. Coming up later in January. But Don James coming across the field to shake hands with Hayden Fry. They had a lot of fun the other day on Don's birthday. Hayden bought him a cake. 2 fine gentlemen, 2 outstanding coaches, and 2 fine teams. 46-34 Huskies.
Coming up on ABC Sports, it's the grand finale of Bowl Fest 91. The Virginia Cavaliers take on the Tennessee Volunteers in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. Live next. The 1991 Rose Bowl has been brought to you by UPS, now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. And by Tylenol. Its pain reliever is in a class by itself. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines.
Attention late night fans. How about some real fun? It's 1991 and